Amid a smog-covered city, hollow skyscrapers stand in ruin, rubble scatters everywhere, the aftermath of a life-or-death battle. Beneath, a serpentine monster with eyes in its mouth and twin rows of jagged teeth lurks. It charges straight at our protagonist. He swings his mutated arms, slicing arcs of sword aura into the beast's grotesque eye. As it lands, the eyeball flies out of its socket. The monster is shredded into chunks, its vile life ended, plunging his blade into the ground. He bends over, gasping after the brutal fight, yet his eyes and tone gleam with a barely hidden joy. In total, has taken down 32 monsters. Since the Halloween cataclysm of 2024, the world has become a hell crawling with abominations. The power gap between humans and monsters is staggering. Only those who've surpassed human limits can fight back. The beasts rampage mercilessly, leaving only cries of despair behind. Amid the desperate pleas, "Help, where's the backup?" no answer comes. Before any reply, a monster appears behind them, roaring as it devours the helpless victim. Luckily, it arrives in time, delivering a clean decapitation, face cold as steel. He mutters, 33 corpses? That was In's class adaptive mutant. Ig stands atop its head, calm and composed, his brows furrow slightly unease creeping in. So far, things were under control, but no one told him more of that class still existed. Data and reality worlds apart, Ig touches the metal collar around his neck, growling, "You said there were only 33. You dare lie to me?" A voice replies, "I told you to call me master." The man on the other end says coolly, "I wasn't on the field, errors happen." Before he can respond, a scream shatters the air. "Captain, watch out, another one over there." Ig glances sideways, his lips form one word, "die." A colossal monster materializes right behind him. He curses under his breath. Damn it. A second later, its claws slash across Ig's neck. Only panic remains through the communicator. Oh God, is he dead? As Ig's thoughts fade, his body limp. The phrase "dogs of the organization never know freedom" rings bitterly. Just one day of freedom, that's all I wish for. Before his soul departs, space itself warps, dragging him into the void. In an instant, Ig appears in another realm, bright, colorful, surreal. A spinning toy above his head leaves him stunned. What the? Wasn't I killed by that monster? He reaches for the toy, then freezes. Wait, this hand mine? Don't tell me I'm a baby now. Ig freezes in horror. Footsteps echo. The infant turns alertly. Who's there? Could it be agents from the organization? A slender hand grasps his tiny arm. Beautiful woman smiles gently, saying, "Ig-chan, you're awake." It's Mom. He stands dumbfounded. Huh. Ig glances around, a strange excitement bubbling inside. What on earth is happening? The TV hums up. Voices outside sound normal, no sign of monsters. He wonders, Reborn, in a timeline where the cataclysm never happened, then the organization must be gone too. Teeth clenched, he fights to contain his thrill. That means I'm free. The Lord of Fate hasn't forsaken me. This is my new beginning. His eyes freeze on the wall calendar, October 2020. The info stuns him. Impossible. How can that be? He looks at his tiny hands. His body can't do a damn thing. Yet moments later, Ig props himself up, determined. Nope, I am Ajima. Nothing's impossible. His little legs try to stand, but he tumbles backward, utter despair. Seriously, I can't even walk yet. He opens his mouth to speak, but his throat is dry, only broken sounds come out. Ig falls silent, powerless. Every second feels precious. His gaze shifts to the woman calling herself his mother. Should he rely on her in this life? A tiny imp appears midair, snickering. Not rely, but use her, at least gain some useful skill. Ig notes mentally, maybe she's handy. Just then, a pile of boxes crashes onto the woman's head. Well, quick reflexes at least. Then Lilin swiftly pours flour into a bowl. If she can cook, even better. But a sudden blaze erupts. No, the house is on fire. Ig facepalms, utterly hopeless, yet she still smiles gently. Bottle in hand, "It's okay, I'll make milk for you." Ig nearly collapses in despair, face buried in the pillow. He sighs, feels like the apocalypse is coming again. The road ahead's rough. Call rings from outside. Delivery here, catching both their attention. Lilin answers, coming, reaching for the doorknob. She pauses. Right, need to pay for delivery. She calls out, "Please wait a sec," and heads back inside. Ig frowns. Delivery, haven't heard that word in ages. Delivery may meet lots of people. A chill runs down his spine. What if he's infected? The door creaks open. Ig screams, "Wait," but the deliverman's voice already echoes, low and feral. He can only whisper, "No." Heavy footsteps follow, that same chilling tone lingering. "Your delivery, please take it." Before Ig stands a courier with a grotesquely twisted head on a normal human body. He repeats urgently, "Take the delivery now." Each word pounds through the room like ghostly echoes. Ig frowns hard, irritation rising. Seriously, anything useful around here? His eyes scan the room. Annoyed, he grabs a baby pillow beside him, slamming it down. He growls, "Damn it, this is all I've got." Looking up, Ig suddenly spots a tentacle right in front of him. It lunges without hesitation, but his tiny body leaps aside just in time. He dodges perfectly, landing back on the pillow head thrown earlier. The monster charges again, attacking with its grotesque, warped head. It grips the milk bottle tight, tensing one hit and has done for. In his past life, had studied countless battlefield monsters. One glance now tells him all he needs. A human body is no match for a monster. As the twisted head retracts, the eerie voice drones, Delivery done. Before its whole body lunges, the boy calculates silently it's a power-amplified type. Brutal attack power, and those writhing head tentacles are just exhausting to deal with. Time to retreat. He drops the milk bottle. It rolls and bumps into the monster's advancing foot. Strong, but slow to react, Ig exploits the flaw. The creature stumbles off course, crashes through the glass door, and falls outside. Yet delivery still echoes as it plummets. Ig stifles a laugh. Didn't think it'd ever thank those brutal battles? Suddenly, a small tail sprouts from his back. It quickly extends toward the shattered window. Ig stares in disbelief. The tail grabs a glowing crystal from the monster's head, then retracts. Hiding behind him, munching noisily, Ig turns, baffled. Is it eating? He grabs the tail. This is... A second later, his eyes widen. Memories of his past life flood, and this is my former power toddy tail. Still stunned, he wonders, why do I still have my old ability? I was born 3 years before the cataclysm. Ig frowns, teeth grinding, utterly confused. Still lucky me. The toddy tail absorbs monsters and converts their skills into mine. He smirks, watching red energy threads creep along his arm. Alright, let's test it. Without hesitation, Ig stabs the toddy tail into the nearby cradle. He grins softly. The sooner one adapts, the greater the power. I hit SSS-Rank at age 7 last time. This time, maybe he'll reach the legendary SSS-Rank. A fantasy of pretty girls surrounding him flashes in his mind. My time has come. Smugly, he turns to leave. Now that I know what I needed, no point staying here. Goodbye. Suddenly his eyes wide. Huh! In the next instant, his body collapses. What the... I can't move. The cradle he stabbed with the toddy tail starts to loosen, bolts shaking violently. Seeing it about to fall on him, he panics. Not good. His final sight before fainting is Leland rushing toward him at that moment. Twin memories resurface. In one, a raspy male voice says, "Never thought I'd eat dog food just to survive. Truly a loyal dog of the organization." Back in reality, sweat drips as he grits his teeth, snarling, "Damn it, I'm not a dog." Moments later, he jolts awake, struggling up. Did I just pass out? Turning, he sees Leland beside him, eyes full of worry. She saved me. Glancing at the faint red energy flickering behind him, he frowns. Why did I faint? Too much power for this body. His instincts whisper 30 seconds max. Damn it, I need to get stronger. Suddenly, a dripping sound. Ig looks up to find his mother crying. What the shiz crying? On the table lies a journal plastered with sticky notes. He sighs. Only she would treasure that chaos. Then he notices a bruise on Leland's shoulder. Ig frowns deeply. That injury, she shielded him. He recalls his past life mother, who sold herself for survival in the organization. He gently touches her back with his tiny hand. She freezes, startled, then stops crying. She turns and hugs him tight. Though Ig still frowns, his heart softens. Fine, he'll stay here a bit longer. Yet he knows time is short. In a week, this world will change completely. Scene shifts outside a building. A new monster emerges. A window cleaner's eyes bulge as green ooze gushes from his face and mouth. It'll appear around here soon. The ooze drips into the sewer below. Back with Ig, arms crossed. He muses, need a solid next plan. Just then, Leland's cheerful voice breaks in. Guess what this is? She says brightly. Unwrapping a red scarf, she reveals a tiny puppy. Ig freezes, speechless. Leland smiles softly. The neighbors gave it to us. His face darkens. Visions of the feral dog from his past flash before him. No way, that can't be that beast. Right? Kinda big for a baby's pet. He sighs. She really is scatterbrained. Then smirks wickedly. Still could be useful. Trained right. A solid defense. Pride gleams in his eyes. Maybe even a ride someday. Leland, seeing his smile, beams. You like it? Huh. A bit later, Ig sets a sausage before the pup. The first step of training. Feeding. Sitting cross-armed like a mob boss, he commands, eat. I feed you. That means I'm your master. The puppy just pants and wags its tail. Dumb as a rock, Ig growls. Look at that stupid face. Understand or not? A beat later, the dog finally bites the sausage. Yeah, that's right. Pleased, it plants a foot on its head. It'll train you into a supreme war mount. Suddenly, the dog's eyes blaze crimson. It lunges and bites him. Pain sears through him as Ig tumbles, rolling across the floor. The dog huffs and turns away, blatantly unimpressed. Ig springs up, fuming inside. You dumb mutt. Then, enraged, he launches himself at his new enemy. Ig and the dog clash in a furious brawl, while Leland just smiles. You two get along so fast. Suddenly she blurts, "Oh no, we're out of flour." Distracted by the thought of buying more, she turns away as the battle rages on. At that moment, mysterious green slime seeps up behind Leland, who's blissfully unaware, oblivious to danger. She mutters while rummaging, "It's gotta be in here somewhere." The Shiba suddenly growls and bolts like lightning. It leaps over the table, straight toward the creeping green sludge. In a flash, it shoves Leland hard out of the way. Thanks to that push, she barely dodges the deadly strike. Wedged between cupboards, Leland gasps, "Huh, what just happened?" Ig frowns. That type's weak but annoying liquid form means immune to cuts and stabs. Leland, clutching her head, winces, "Ouch, I hit the cabinet." The Shiba bites into the goo, but it engulfs him in an instant. Ig realizes, not good, it's morphing. Weakness, dehydration. Scanning the room, he spots the milk bottle. Perfect. He unscrews it and hurls it forward, Milk splashes everywhere, coating the green mass. The slime convulses, sprouting spikes in pain, then shrinks into a small sphere, bouncing wildly around the house. Ig nods. Just as I thought, panicking from rapid drying. Seizing the moment, he grabs a basket and slams it down, trapping the creature. When the thumping stops, Ig sits atop the lid, sighing in relief. Done, he grins proudly. Genius, as always. Just then, Lalin staggers up, clutching a plate of flour from the cupboard. The plate tips, spilling white powder over both Sheba and herself. Ig sighs. Great, another klutz. Lalin laughs awkwardly. What bad luck, better wash this off. Meanwhile, Ig daydreams heroically. At least worth it. That slime's residue could make antiparasite serum or even a window shield. Lost in thought, he hears a pop. The monster's escaped. What? A moment later, he flops onto the floor as it soars upward. Damn it, it got away. Just then, Sheba leaps, headbutting it back down. The green slime recoils, trembling in rage. Glancing nervously behind the dog, as Ig reaches for it, the blob springs free again. It dives out the window, flipping them off midair. Seconds later, only empty sky remains. Ig and Sheba stare, faces dark, unbelievable. Both fume. Shows up on its own, leaves with attitude. What a smug little blob. Moments later, it grabs a broom by the door, hoists it over his shoulder, and hops on a Sheba. After it, determination blazes in his eyes. I won't let it escape again. Ig and the dog dash down the stairs like a storm. Deep down, he mutters. A flying parasite repellent, what the hell even is that? Sheba sprints down the street, paws pounding with power. They finally spot the hazy green blob ahead. Could just toss sand or mud, and it's done. But suddenly, the slime drops, splatting onto a little girl below. She looks up, confused. In a blink, it engulfs her. She screams, terror etched across her face. Ig clenches his jaw. Damn it, if I use my power now, this body won't hold. If that thing parasitizes her, this whole area will turn into a bloodbath. Rage surges inside him. At that instant, Sheba leaps forward like living lightning. Once was enough in the last life. Ig's fists tighten, eyes blazing with resolve. He pops open him in a parachute, diving down to shield the girl, ripping the slime off her body. His face darkens with fury as the green mass recoils. If I can only use my power for a short time, he pants heavily. Ig activates the touty tail, delivering a hammer-like punch. The monster's flung far away. Good this time. It'll end it instantly. Rain suddenly pours, riding on Sheba. He thinks, made it just in time. Before him, the trembling girl sits crying and hesitates. Does she see me? But before he can speak, she screams and bolts. She ran. He stands there, lost in thought, then chuckles softly. Fair enough, this cleanup looks terrifying. Suddenly, he feels something tug at him. Looking down, a long blue tail pokes from his waistband. What the? It gapes. Can I absorb two abilities at once? In his past life, new powers always replaced the old. Raising his hand, worry flickers in his eyes. Unbelievable, both powers coexist. Remembering the past, he murmurs, I hid my strength to avoid the organization and died because of that caution. But how did the touty tail evolve? A spark flashes in his mind. Of course it's the age factor. The earlier the awakening, the stronger the power. I adapted at 7 before, yet most kids younger than me then died from monster toxins. Ig smirks, a wicked grin spreading, and now I'm even younger. Still, this body's potential far surpasses all limits. Worth the wait. Snapping back to reality, Ig notices Sheba has stopped. We're here. He hops off, landing with a thud. Raising a hand, he channels power. Water droplets swirl in the air. The water forms a protective ring around the gate. Minutes later, exhausted, he slumps down. Can't drain myself dry yet. Frowning, he mutters, idiot, I forgot how weak this child body is. Then collapses, gasping. Still, a faint smile crosses his lips. At least now, monsters won't get close. Suddenly, Sheba barks softly, eyes sharp with alertness. What is it? Ig asks. The dog grips his shirt and lifts him off the ground. Hey, don't tell me you're planning to eat me. Cut to Lin, fresh from a bath, sighing blissfully. That feels amazing. She suddenly realizes something, then chuckles softly. In front of her, Ig lies squashed under Sheba, grumbling, too heavy. Outside, the sun has mellowed. The clock shows 2 p. Sheba still snores, drooling a puddle. Meanwhile, Ig, sweating and wary, checks everything. Good, all windows, vents, and drains sealed. Finished, he plops to the floor, thinking, at least now, even if a disaster hits, this house can hold for a while. He sighs, brows furrowed. Finally figured out more about the tatty tail. It can store up to 4 skills. Ig tenses. Right now, I can only handle 2 and for 30 seconds tops. Arms crossed, he plans the next step, to prep for the cataclysm. First priority is his eyes widen food. Memories flood back, people trampling each other amid fire and chaos. The real killer, Ig thinks, wasn't monsters, but famine after the supply chain collapsed. No workers, no transport, then came riots. In contrast, the rich and calculating survived, even commanding others through hoarded resources. Thinking of the present, it grows anxious. If only I could start prepping now. Those bloody scenes haunt him. Cities overrun by monsters, infection spreading at lightning speed. His face pales. In this tiny body, I wouldn't last a second if surrounded. He ruffles his hair, sighing. No plan works. No supplies to scavenge. What now? Suddenly, he spots something behind him, her phone. His eyes gleam cunningly. He climbs the table, muttering, "Who puts it this high?" Reaching it, he grins. Household chat group. Huh. Unlocked too. The screen lights up. Messages read, "Heard there's a strange virus spreading. Be careful." Another turns people into monsters. Sounds fake. Someone scoffs if real. That's insane, probably rumor. Ig snickers darkly. Time to enlighten these fools. He makes a new account and jumps into chat. Some post. Weird virus alert, stay safe. Another yawns. I'm going to sleep. Then his anonymous message appears. A great catastrophe is coming. Stock up now, chaos will follow. Do as I say if you want to live. One instantly replies, "Huh, who are you?" Some middle schooler. Drop your info before spouting nonsense. Ig slams the table. Idiots, you've no idea death's already at your door. Lying on the cabinet, he mutters. At this rate, humanity will die out before the organization even shows. Suddenly, the screen pings a new friend request. Ig frowns, accepts, still wary. Who's this? The first message pops up. You're looking for supplies. Right, I want to trade. It blinks at the username, murmuring, that name sounds familiar. A flash of a girl's image jolts him. Could it be her? Panicked, he bolts upright, heart racing. Wait, is she from the organization? Elsewhere, in a bizarre digital space, Hot lounges with her feet on the table, grinning smugly. After sending a message, she smiles slyly, ready for some juicy chaos. In her private room, Hot lazily enjoys her melting ice cream, looking infuriatingly relaxed. Glancing at her phone, she mutters, "Just tell me the plan, already so annoying." Then a wicked smile spreads as she types eagerly, "Fine. My terms will supply every material you need." With that, Hot hits send, the grin still lingering on her lips. Her base is everything: food, drinks, armor, anything she might need. But getting her help isn't easy. Twirling her ice cream, she smirks. Info isn't free, price is 100 million yen. To show off her wealth, she hangs money on the air cooler, then adds, "But hey, you'll spill everything if you cut me 20 shipments. Deal." Over at Ig's side, he studies Hot's message and frowns. This arrogant tone can only be hers. Realizing that, Ig sighs helplessly, then questions her, "Why should I trust you?" Hot teases, "Want to verify yourself?" He retorts, "And if I refuse to deal?" She laughs, "Yup, you gonna make me your enemy?" Then calmly adds, "I just want to cooperate." Ig cuts in, "Then where's the location?" She replies casually, "Check the mailbox in your apartment." Ig notes the organization isn't formed yet. Hot isn't the leader. Still, his gut says she never helps for free. She's a manipulative danger, draining anyone she targets. He chuckles slyly. "Cooperate? Nah, that info's just bait." Clenching his fist, Ig plans to flip the game this time. The in-game atmosphere gradually settles. Sunset glows. It's already 5 p.m. Ig startles. Did I just nap for 2 hours? Folding his arms, he muses. Energy's back. Time to grab that info. Acting fast, he crawls up the stairs. Can't risk the camera in the elevator. But in this kid-sized body, he groans. Climbing's torture. Spotting his sleeping dog, he gets a daring idea. Crawling closer, he grabs his tail and whispers, "Hey, wake up." Disturbed mid-nap, the dog snorts and glares at him. Instead of reacting mildly, it whips its tail hard, knocking it over before dozing off again. He groans, "I thought I trained you." Man, rubbing his sore cheek, he spots the food box. A light bulb moment. Wait, what if I bribe it with food? He creeps forward, holding the meal out carefully, with its keen nose. The dog instantly sniffs the delicious aroma wafting from it. The dog jumps up like it just got promoted, eager to cooperate. Ig smirks, typical mutt, so handy. Perched on the dog's back, he grumbles, "Hurry up before she wakes up." On the way, it keeps pondering Hot's words. Mailbox sounds simple but suspicious. When he arrives, he grins, "Found it," then freezes at the sight of a surveillance camera. Staring at the lens, Ig stays silent. So that's it. Hot wants to identify him through the feed. He quickly drafts a counterplan. If exposed, he'd be sold off instantly. Luckily, Hot only targets people she's seen. It chuckles slyly. Easy fix, just misdirect her. He holds back, scouting the area first, checking every corner before resting his eyes. Opening them again, he spots hidden cameras and lights, glass frames, even flower pots, 3 secret ones besides the building's own. Ig sneers. She really thinks these toys can catch my face? At her base, Hot giggles, eyes sparkling. Let's see who my prey is this time. Then her phone buzzes. A message from Ig. Got the info. Hot freezes, shouting, "What?" I never looked away from the screen. Pale-faced, she replays the footage, only sees a chubby dog strutting by. She had no clue hid behind the dog's massive body. He grins. Perfect blind spot. Spotting a coupon on the floor, he gets an idea. "I'll stash the phone here, fake name ready." He leaves the dog outside, guarding and blocking view. Everything set perfectly. In the stairwell, it turns on the recorder, whispering, "Who are you?" The reply comes with a mocking laugh. "Give me 100 million yen and I'll tell you." On Hot's side, her smile stiffens. Irritation boiling. This guy's infuriating. Enraged, she slams the phone down, yelling, "Don't mess with me. Search the whole house." Then furiously types commands, Turns out her agent is a spider-shaped robot she proudly boasts about 30 million yen. Built-in camera, waterproof, heat-proof, magnetic shield, and electric shock mode. But as the robot scuttles out, it crashes into someone coming down the stairs. Hot screams, "My 30 million yen." The newcomer is Li Ling. She pauses, calmly asks, "Huh, Ig-chan, what are you doing?" She says, startling Ig and the dog stiff. Meanwhile, Hot mourns her fallen 30 million yen spider. Li Ling, curious, asks, "What exactly are you up to?" Frowning, she peers closer at the screen. Wait, that spider has a comm link. Who's on the other end? Hot instantly grabs her headset, pressing it tight to her ear, voice low and sharp. "Hey, don't scream over toy. Hear me. I can hear your voice now." Then she grips the headset, eyes blazing, whispering, "I'll make you pay slowly." Excited, she taunts over the line, "I could post all your embarrassing messages online, you know, say something." But the other voice coolly replies, "Dress that lightly. You'll catch a cold." Shiz left speechless clearly. He couldn't care less. Furious, Hot cuts the power and curses under her breath. Frustrated she still can't guess his identity. "Who the hell are you?" Meanwhile, Li Ling sighs behind Ig, scolding, "Hiding here's dangerous. You know that." "Ig-chan." The communicator lies on the floor. All ports active but only about 46 signals usable. Ig types quietly, "It'll give the info for free, plus the supplies." He frowns. Shiz surrendering that easily. Impossible. Li Ling is out on the balcony hanging laundry. He gazes outside, thinking, that girl probably thinks the stray dog opened the door, and Ming must have noticed too. Ig sighs. Now she probably thinks I was napping and sleepwalking. He glances at the tied-up dog, muttering, "Hang in there. I'll come back for you." He pieces together Hot's clue: a warehouse-style supermarket opening soon. So she's a floating old stock from others. For her, that's generosity. Time to stock up fast. Ig smirks at the flyer. Left this behind and she still hasn't noticed. Time to move, he murmurs, clenching his glowing red fist. Then reminds himself, can't mention the apocalypse outright. Just then, Li Ling passes by, mumbling, "Only 5 days worth of milk left." Ig's eyes gleam, a mischievous smile forming perfect opportunity. Soon, a milk carton accidentally spills, messy but useful as an excuse. Li Ling sees her little brother napping on the couch and smiles softly. Asleep already. Good thing Iction's still resting. Then she spots a flyer on the table. Huh, a supermarket ad. Reading it closely, she muses, a new market nearby. I'll check it out later. Ig turns, smirking. Plan worked. Pushing her cart outside, Li Ling hums, "What a lovely day." The happier she looks, the grumpier it gets, muttering, "Hey, guys shouldn't dress like that outside." Meanwhile, the poor dog's left locked indoors, sprawled out pitifully. The two reach the residential gate, but someone stops them. "Wait up." The security guard rushes over, panting, "Why are you going out?" "There's an outbreak, stay inside." Li Ling calmly replies, "It's just getting baby formula." The guard snaps, "Don't cause trouble for the government." Ig glances sideways, thinking, government. Huh, won't last long anyway. The guard points back, "Just following orders. Go home." But before he finishes, a hand grabs his head, a deep voice growling, "Wait until things calm down, then go out." A massive monster appears behind him, roaring as it lifts him into the air. Bright red fluid splatters everywhere. Right before Li Ling and Ig, the poor guard vanishes without a trace. The creature emits a rasping screech. It's called a protein. Ig bites his nails. Tense, not good, strong, fast breathing, no clear weakness at all. The monster flings the guard's body aside, and Ig frowns. If he doesn't use his power, the woman will die. Before he can react, someone scoops him up. It's Li Ling. He panics, emotions swirling, clinging to her. Ig pales. She's running away, but the creature blocks their path before they can escape. This one's unlike any before. Its speed blurs beyond human sight. Ig spots something useful: a fire extinguisher across the hall. He instantly triggers his power, making the extinguisher explode. The blast floods the area in thick white smoke. When it clears, the monster still stands, unhurt but slightly startled. Ig doesn't hesitate. He charges in. His punch lands squarely, sending the creature flying. Watching it tumble, Ig starts timing, engaging distance. From dusk to now, around 30 seconds. He closes his eyes, opens them, glowing red. 30 seconds to end this. Question is, can I finish before she wakes up? Li Ling lies unconscious from shock. Time's running short. Ig analyzes. Fast evolved beasts like this have a core in the head. One clean hit and it's over. But seeing the metallic armor, he scowls. Quick scan, no damage at all. He grits his teeth. Fine, one more hit, this ends now. The creature wheezes, eyes blazing, growing more feral. It attacks first, lightning fast. Ig barely registers the incoming strike. He leaps up, dodging death by inches. Midair, he fires sticky syrup threads at the steel beast. Using them, he swings and wraps its arms, body, and tail tight. Even its snarling mouth gets bound shut. Ig yanks hard, every muscle strained, draining his strength. Sensing something's off, he mutters through gritted teeth, "Damn, it's off-center," then reassures himself, still winning main character privilege. He loops the syrup cords around his leg, using them as leverage. Launching high, Ig dives into a one-and-one clash without hesitation. The steel beast reacts instantly, countering and forcing him back. Circling behind, it ties cords around its razor-sharp back spikes. He yanks hard, betting its massive size will limit its agility against a small kid, but it's clearly holding back like a cat toying with a mouse. Ig dodges and counters deftly, scratching its thick armor. Soon, red fluid seeps from its body. It stalls, awaiting the next strike. At least all that experience is paying off, he thinks, panting, sweat dripping. Ig notes, it's weaker now. One last hit, but suddenly, the beast smashes a nearby car door. It hurls it at Ig with brutal force. Luckily, he twists away just in time to dodge the deadly blow, vaulting onto a nearby rooftop. It curses, damn it, if it keeps attacking like that, I can't close in. Ambush! No distraction, and time's almost up. Clenching his fist, he decides, no other choice, gotta retreat. Suddenly, a faint movement behind catches his eye. Ling's awake. She's conscious? Startled, she looks around for Ikshin, confused. Where are we? Looking up, she freezes at the giant looming above. Pure terror blanks her mind. Her face pales, lips trembling. No way! Seeing this, Ig snaps. What do you think you're doing? You can't fight that thing. But Ling draws a hidden taser gun, aiming it at the beast, shouting, let the boy go. The taser crackles, and Ig gapes. She's seriously doing it. He sighs. Fine, at least it's a distraction. Now's my chance. He leaps forward, catching the steel beast off guard. It roars, swinging wildly, sending Ling crashing to the ground. Ig rushes it, condensing power into a gleaming syrup blade. Time to clean up this trash. But as he raises his head, the beast already closing in. Ig slashes hard. The blade pierces deep. The steel monster howls, then collapses, fatally struck. If not heaven, then hell it is, Ig mutters with a smirk. Exhaling, battle over. He walks to Ling, still unconscious. Without her, it'd be done for. She really risked it all for me. Guess I've still got a lot to train for, he murmurs, collapsing beside her. His tiny hand rests quietly in hers. After a while, Ig slowly opens his eyes, mind foggy. Someone's shaking him awake. A man's voice says softly, you up, kid? Ig blinks at the stranger. Who the heck is this guy? Panicked, he kicks the man's face repeatedly, yelling, get lost, you creep. Ling rushes over in a panic. I'm so sorry. Please forgive him. The man wipes his face, chuckling. It's fine, guess I scared the kid. Smiling lightly, he asks, so, does the pup get along with him? Ling answers, of course. She glances at him, wondering, is he the dog's previous owner? Helping Ig back to his seat, she thanks him gently. Thanks for your help. He simply replies, don't mention it. Ig frowns, thinking, she saw that monster, so why is she acting like nothing happened? Then he notices her soaked hair. Huh, her hair's wet. Did she cry alone? He wonders quietly, not daring to ask. The neighbor stands, saying, Miss Ling, we're heading out for supplies, get ready. She nods. All right. Ig muses. Supplies sounds familiar. He considers joining their scavenging group might not be a bad idea. Then suddenly, remembering something, he jolts up. Right, while she's distracted, he sneaks out. I still haven't grabbed the crystal from that monster. Soon, Ig reaches the site. There it is, beneath a wrecked car. Faint red glow flickers under dust. From his back, an energy hook shoots out, spearing and retrieving the crystal. Got it. Gazing at it, he recalls the monster's form, its enhancement trait fused into his blood. Smiling proudly, half thrilled, he muses, not bad. I can use this as a shield now. Suddenly, a deep male voice nearby growls, Ziki! Ig tilts his head, listening. Before him stands a man on the phone. At his feet lies a crimson corpse, and that voice belongs to the neighbor. He snarls, they're just dead weight. Idiots! That's exactly why we bring them along in emergencies. He pauses, touches the corpse, and chuckles. Using them as bait works fine. Effective, isn't it? It grits his teeth. As insane who leaves a kid and a dog alone like that. In his hand is a wallet stuffed with cash. The neighbor smirks. Let's grab another car and scavenge more. Ig holds his breath, but then something drops behind him. The neighbor startles, barking, who's there? Ig spins, heart racing. Crap, my lens cracked. Before he can hide, cold voice comes from behind. Yo, kiddo! Startled, Ig looks up, meeting the man's icy gaze. The neighbor's tone drips mockery. He crouches, smirking faintly. What brings you all the way out here, little one? Then he lifts the phone again, lips curling. Damn, maybe he heard me. Whatever, just a kid. Killing him's no issue. Ig's face darkens. What? Has completely lost it. Cut to blue skies and drifting clouds inside a car. Ling buckles again. He grumbles. Tight. The neighbor turns from the driver's seat, smiling thinly. All right, let's go. Ig's eyes widen as the driver. Fury boils inside. If I could use my power freely, it'd crush him now. Ling beams. I brought snacks, help yourselves. The girl beside her replies flatly, thanks. Ig frowns. Wait, they haven't seen the monster footage. And they're still going out. The neighbor waves. We're off. The man outside nods back. With that signal, the car rolls forward, tires crunching over the rough road. It glances out the window, thinking, Yeah, I get it now. He realizes they're protecting themselves by pretending everything's normal, to keep from breaking down, watching bloodstained corpses along the street. Ig murmurs inwardly. They hide their terror by acting like life's still fine. The man's voice breaks the silence. Can I get a sandwich? Ling smiles brightly. Of course. Let me grab one. As the tenant of room 502 Lin Yin Yu. Another young man adds politely. It'll take a hot dog too. Room 103. Jen Ku. Ling hands him the box with a smile. Here you go, everyone. Meanwhile, Ig's busy with a freshly mined booger. Eyes gleaming mischievously, Ling doesn't notice. Still passing bread to Jen Ku. He accepts with thanks. Then a voice from the front asks, Miss Ling, raising a child alone must be tough. The young woman continues seriously. I mean, you're still young and pretty. You don't look like someone used to hard work. It's dangerous going out lately. Huh, that's room 104 Ryu Carson? Ling grows pensive, recalling the past, and replies softly, I once thought of staying home. She sighs, but lately, if I leave him alone, he always causes trouble. Took me a while to decide to bring him along. It grimaces internally. Please, stop sharing already. The man beside the driver, silent till now room 504, Chin Minoru finally speaks. Miss Ling, you're quite capable in a fight, aren't you? He adds, heard she took down a monster with a taser, now she's got a dog too. In the back, the golden-furred dog sits upright, panting softly. Ling blushes, flustered. Honestly, I don't really remember that. Ig scratches his head, thinking, yeah, right. Like shiz that useful. The neighbor frowns, muttering, well, guess this area's clear of monsters now, but mid-sentence. He stops, sniffing the air. Something's off. Ahead, a girl sprints across the street in panic. A moment later, something massive slams into a wall with an explosion. The girl freezes, terrified before a gigantic hand. Behind it, a swarm of monsters charges in dark green scales, bulging red eyes, and gaping mouths full of teeth, all starving for flesh. The girl screams, her shriek slicing through the air. Inside the car, all 6 people fall silent. Fear, confusion, shock, each frozen in horror. Only Minoru and Aji remain calm. Eyes coldly observing, the neighbor grips the wheel tight, shouting, hold on, and floors the gas pedal. The tires screech as the car spins and rockets the other way. In the trunk, the dog barks wildly, woof, woof, while outside, the girl collapses, crying desperately, ah, help me. Sweat beads on Ling's forehead. She bends over, gasping. Ig thinks, man, this day's absolute chaos. He presses his lips, scanning around. We're surrounded. Outside, the monsters close in, squinting. Ig notes, those punctures on their heads, that's biotech parasite control. From what he knows, these parasites turn humans into cyborg drones weak alone. Deadly in packs, if they keep multiplying, we're done. Ig frowns, calculating, we need to escape now. The neighbor curses, damn it, we're completely surrounded. He imagines the horde crashing into the car, even reinforced glass won't hold. Ig tightens his seatbelt, muttering, nope, that's totally possible. If I can't drive them off, I can't strike. He furrows his brow. That power only lasts 30 seconds wasted here, and it's over. Glancing around the car, Ig thinks, seriously, no one here can fight. Suddenly, Kazan shouts, pointing out the window, they're attacking that girl. Outside, she's still screaming for help. The boy beside him clenches his fists, trembling. What are you waiting for? Help her. Ig grits his teeth, thinking, that woman? A question echoes in his head. Should we even try to save her? He puffs his cheeks irritably. She's just dead. Wait. Watching Kazan panic, Ig mutters inwardly, keeping her won't help. Better to leave her. Just then, Minoru's deep voice cuts in. Nope, it's too late. He points, though the girl's still crying. A glowing red mark now burns on her neck, same as the parasites. Ig glances at Minoru, thinking, sharp old guy, not much of a fighter, but clever as hell. The neighbor asks coldly, so should we charge in? He smirks, if we rush out, we'll have to kill the horde first or we'll all get shredded. Ig scowls, Tetch, planning to kill everyone. Huh, he shoots the man a tired look, useless when it counts and the guy in back's no better. Venku, silent till now, suddenly blurted, I'll go. Ig perked up, maybe this weakling might snap and be useful. Venku inhaled deeply and shouted, I'll handle them, I'm not afraid. Ig sighed, yep, classic reckless idiot. He exhaled, so there's really no other way. Suddenly, Ling rummaged in her bag. Wait, I have a stun gun. I'll go. Ig gawked, she's actually going out there. The car door creaked open. Venku hesitated, grinning nervously. Guess I don't have to go now, right? Ig frowned, what a spineless coward. The neighbor murmured, then we'll count on you. Thunk. A red spike pierced straight into Jenko's shirt from outside. Both froze in shock. Jenku stared at his chest in horror. Instantly, he was yanked out of the car, dangling high in the air. A clawed hand dug into the car frame as the monster slowly rose. Its pale skin and hideous face made it look like a reanimated corpse. Eyes black and abyssal, it lunged and stabbed Kazan in the chest, making the boy scream before he even processed it. Then the creature turned its gaze toward the back seat. It lifted its sharp head, aiming at the two. Ig's face darkened, so this is the main body. He clenched his jaw, thinking, Where the hell has it been hiding? Damn cunning beast. Ig stepped out slowly, no more running, only fighting. The monster immediately aimed its spike at Lei Ling. It tensed, ready to react. As Ig charged forward, the spike suddenly froze midair. Both gaped. Behind them, Minoru calmly grabbed the creature. Its blood splattered across his face as he demanded, "So you're the leader of these freaks?" Ig stared. Dumbfounded, the monster said nothing. Raising its spike to strike again, Minoru instantly read its move. He seized the spike, twisted it, and stabbed back, making the beast shriek in agony. It gasped under his breath. That old man, bloody hell. He took it down barehanded. Minoru strained, driving the spike deep into the creature's chest, pinning it still. After a moment, its body went rigid. Minoru yanked the spike free and hurled it aside. The monster hit the ground with a heavy thud. Motionless, Minoru muttered, "I'm getting old." From the back, Ig was buzzing, "Holy crap, the old man's a beast." But then he froze, frowning at the corpse. This isn't over. He eyed Minoru, thinking, "I still don't know who this old man really is." Then he glanced at the monster. A stab to the heart won't kill the controller. The thought flashed, and the creature suddenly sprang upright. It gritted his teeth. "Damn it. If I can't talk, it'll just signal." Tears streaming, he pointed shakily behind the old man. Minoru spun around. The monster had reverted to its original form. It roared, thrusting its spike straight at him. Minoru twisted aside, barely dodging the lethal strike. Sweat dripped down his brow as he muttered, "Back in the Special Forces, I saw things like this, enemies that don't die from a stab to the heart." Ig hugged Lei Ling tightly, thinking, so he really was Special Forces. Minoru took a deep breath, slipped his hand into his coat pocket. The car shook violently. He lunged forward, slashing the monster. Blood sprayed everywhere like fireworks. He lifted its face, murmuring, "Just as I thought. You can't die," then frowned in thought. He drove his knee into the creature's back, snapping its head backward. Blood splattered upward like a crimson rainstorm. Ig wiped his tears, analyzing his reflexes and combat instincts are unreal. Watching Minoru's back, he thought, "I should have realized earlier, he's definitely ex-military." Sweat dripped down Ig's forehead as he recalled his past life, when he had been a dog of the organization. The army had already fallen, though the rumors still echoed. After the government collapsed, the military became humanity's last defense and the organization's sworn enemy. Among them, the Special Forces were the army's elite, said to master techniques beyond normal comprehension. It clenched his fist, grinning. "All right, time to hit the supermarket." Soon the sky turned orange. Lei Ling said, "Maybe we should go home." Minoru replied calmly, "Go home and trouble will follow. Let's keep moving." Ig frowned. How do I recruit this guy to my side? His mind spun. Pretend to defect from the army, blackmail him with intel from Haas, or simpler, just stick to him and force him to protect me. Suddenly, Minoru patted Ig's head. He smiled kindly. "Miss Lei Ling, stay behind me with the child. I can cover you." Lei Ling blushed. "Okay, I won't be a bother." Minoru added softly, "But don't expect too much from me." She smiled. "Still, thank you for earlier." He shook his head. "If the kid hadn't cried, I might have been dead." Minoru muttered. "The dumber a man, the greedier he is." The word stabbed Ig. "Who the hell are you calling dumb?" Lei Ling quietly fixed his seatbelt. Ig thought, that kindness of hers will get her killed one day. Still, I owe her this time. The sun dipped below the horizon, the sky fading to violet. They'd reached a new area. Minoru tilted his head. "The doors are locked today." "Strange." Lei Ling frowned. "But the notice says it's open." Ig mused. Hot must have hacked the system. She probably shut the market down remotely. Suddenly, the shutters rolled up. "Yo, it's open now." The neighbor smirked, flashing a keycard. "A friend helped me open it." Ig tensed instantly, slipping out his phone, eyes widening. "No way." On screen, a message from Hot. "I unlocked it before you arrive. I saw your car on the camera." Ig froze as connected to Hot. He looked up the man's smug face, disbelief churning inside. Scene shift. The group was inside. Ig sat in a shopping cart, grumbling, "Man, I'm exhausted." Then he paused. "Oh well, fate's fate." Lei Ling gasped, "Wow, it's huge." Ig glanced around. No cameras in sight. Good, no risk of exposure now. Ig glanced at Minoru, shivering inside. Wait, the old man's armed. Seen his stash of gear. Ig sighed. Yep, definitely ex-Special Forces. Then he looked around. Where'd that psycho go? Lei Ling glanced about. No staff. Then how do we pay? Suddenly, the neighbor clapped loudly, grinning slyly. "No problem." He slapped a nearby crate, boasting, "My organization already bought everything here." The dog barked furiously. The schemer snarled. "Shut up, you noisy mutt." He sneered. "I thought breaking in would be hard, so I used you all. Now you're worthless." Ig froze, spotting a tattoo on his arm. That symbol was unmistakable, as from the organization. Ig's face darkened, eyes burning with rage. The schemer smirked, declaring, "From now on, all supplies here belong to the Dong Lian Guild." Then he drew a gun, voice cold. "No objections, especially you." Old man, don't move. Ig's eyes widened. Dong Lian Guild, the prototype of the Project Hunting Enforcement Unit. Even before the apocalypse, they'd been hoarding goods and committing crimes in secret. So that uneasy feeling from the start, it was this smug bastard voice all along. Ig clenched his teeth. Whether has that guy or not, he dies today. Minoru glanced back. Guards surrounded them. They'd been duped from the start, he muttered. Dong Lian Guild and a plan flashed in his mind. Gripping his cane, he stepped back, thinking, take out the leader first. Minoru hurled the cane, it flew straight into the power box. Catch this, the henchman screamed. You old fool, you want to die. Minoru spun around, shouting, you two run. A second later, the box exploded with a boom. Flames burst across the room. Amid the smoke, the schemer stood unfazed. His calmness made Minoru shudder. He smiled a twisted, chilling grin. Minoru hissed, this is bad. Then the man slammed a button on his remote. Instantly, another massive explosion erupted. Minoru's eyes widened in shock, unable to react. The blast hurled him across the floor. He groaned, pushing himself up with trembling arms. A black gun barrel aimed right between his eyes. The schemer grinned wickedly. Can't let an old soldier slip away. Move and you're dead. Just then, a sharp voice rang out. Don't move. Her voice shook, the gun in her hands trembling too. Move and he'll shoot. Why are you doing this? But faced with the weapon aimed straight at him, the schemer didn't flinch. He smirked. Are you serious? Lady, though trembling, Ling's gaze stayed firm. Completely, he laughed. If you shoot me, will you still be innocent? Ling's voice wavered. Can't we just share the food instead? He sneered, his wicked grin spreading. You're a funny one. Then, with scorn, he added, too dumb to talk sense with. You think you're in charge? Want to know why I handed you that mutt? That day, when I came to collect the debt, the house owner had already kicked the bucket. He took a drag, blowing smoke lazily. Dead already. Huh, guess I've got no one left to play with. Back to the present, he smirked. Just as I was about to brainwash the dog, I met you. Had been strolling the road, pushing the dog along and whistling. Reckon, looks like it's you versus me today. Then Ling appeared behind him, smiling gently. Yo, a dog. The schemer glanced at her, a cold thought crossing his mind, a girl and a dog. A second later, he grinned darkly. Perfect, let her keep it. Returning to now, he taunted, raising a kid and a huge dog all alone and you're still alive. Impressive. Ig's veins bulged with fury, eyes blazing. The schemer fired a shot into the air, bang, then growled. As for the food, there's not enough for everyone. One henchman rushed forward and yanked open the steel door. The rest stormed in, faces twisted with hostility. Within moments, Ig's group was completely surrounded. The schemer sneered, you really don't know your place. Weaklings like you, he smirked, belong 6 feet under. Ig's teeth ground, so the weak deserve to suffer. Huh, a memory flash, pathetic mutt. You think you deserve to eat. That man's eyes had been wide, tears streaming endlessly. Back to the present, the Shiba growled, snapping its chain, lunged forward, only to be instantly surrounded at gunpoint. Ig swung his arm, blue energy threads shot out. Hold them down. They struck the fuse box hard. Instantly, the lights went out, plunging the store into darkness. The thugs shouted, too dark, can't see. Turn the lights back on. The schemer stayed calm, raising his gun until a voice shouted, don't shoot, stop. It didn't give him the chance. He dashed forward like lightning. His steel tail whipped out, smashing straight into the schemer's face. The man hit the ground, knocked cold, but his finger still pulled the trigger reflexively. In that instant, Minoru sprang up, delivering a fierce kick his way. As the move ended, Ig and Minoru locked eyes, frozen. Seeing Minoru, Ig's face darkened, heart racing. Crap, he saw me. He panicked silently. If the old man's military, hell, think him a monster for sure. And if they learn this kid's got powers, they'll drag me off for experiments. At the same moment, the bullet shot out of the barrel, whizzing through the air. Minoru landed, sliding across the floor, eyes sharp. He frowned. That kid a monster. It turned to look behind him. He saw Minoru rushing toward him, the light glinting off his tense face. Ig dodged aside just in time. Minoru thought. I suspected highly suspicious. Then Minoru switched on a flashlight, beaming it toward Ig. The boy darted away, melting into the dark. From atop the shelf, Ig glared down. I need to kill that light, but has the one holding it. In that case, he'll have to deal with the old man first. Suddenly, a strange sound echoed. Ig, Minoru! And Ling all flinched in surprise. A glowing green mass shimmered eerily across the ceiling. The schemer's henchmen curiously approached it. One shone his flashlight up. What the hell is that? Hiding nearby. It grinned perfect. Everyone's distracted. He smirked. Lucky me. It used his red threads to pull a cart over, climbing in quietly and out of sight. Then, the green slime slithered behind Minoru. He sensed it, turning slightly. He froze before him. The thing was morphing into an exact copy of himself. What the? It's becoming me. As he gawked, the clone's eyes snapped open and lunged at him. Elsewhere, the others were attacked by their own duplicates. What's happening? Get back. Stop. Minoru panted, sweat dripping down. I see now. It's making perfect clones, true biological copies. Then a voice shouted from behind. Don't come any closer. It was Ling, terrified yet standing in front of Ig. Meanwhile, he faked a sob, thinking, so that thing wasn't me. Huh, great, perfect cover for my secret. Ig glanced at Minoru, silently yelling, old man, move it already. Suddenly, a slim creature brushed against him. His skin crawled. Gross, was it so squishy? On the other side, Minoru was dodging every strike from his own slim clone. Just then, he spotted a useful tool nearby. He grabbed it and smashed the creature's head with a loud thunk. Completely useless decapitation didn't work. Slems regenerate instantly, and honestly, what head? Minoru sighed, sweat pouring. Annoying little blob. The Slim reattached its head like nothing happened. He set his cane down, pulling a toolkit from his pocket. This thing's a Slim-type monster. Before he could say more, the Slim latched onto Ig, making the boy yelp, "Don't come near me." Ling fought back while Ig shouted. Its weakness is electricity and dehydration. With a burst of strength, he flung the Slim into a steel wall using his blood threads. Minoru inhaled sharp, blood boiling, and drew his gun. He fired repeatedly, bullets slamming into the slime. Then, for good measure, he pumped a few more rounds until the Slim disintegrated into dust. Ig frowned. "Wait, there's another one." Grinding his teeth, he muttered, "Not bad, old man." Minoru said nothing, swiftly shooting down the Slim, harassing Ling. Ig exhaled in relief. "Looks like my secret's safe for now." But he quickly noticed Minoru's sharp eyes fixed on him. His instincts were terrifyingly keen. Ig looked away. He glanced at the fallen Slim. Still alive. Seems the old man's shot weakened it. Can't let it escape. Just then, the schemer crawled out from the boxes, bruised and filthy, glaring at Ig with murderous fury. Ig gritted his teeth. "What the hell, fine. I'll kill him myself." But if he used his powers now, his identity would be exposed. Think. Suddenly, a hand grabbed him from behind. He was yanked back, then kicked hard. Ling fell to the floor. Both turned sharply. The schemer, foaming at the mouth, screamed, "I'm taking the kid." He aimed his gun. "Drop your weapons. Now." Ig was speechless at his insanity, yet a thrill sparked inside him. Perfect chance. I'll end him here. The man barked again. "Drop them or I'll blow his head off." The others froze, unsure what to do. Then the remaining Slim slithered up, its gooey body reforming. It stood between the groups holding a grenade. Minoru gasped. "What the hell is that thing?" The Slim exploded itself, sacrificing its body to cover the schemer's escape. He dashed out through the smoke, faster than a dog on fire, while Ig spotted a glowing level 1 crystal rolling from the blast. Calmly, he wrapped his tail around it and stashed it away. The schemer bolted outside, slammed the steel door shut, locking them in. He poked his head back and cursed, "Rot in there, losers." His goons yelled, "Boss." That was fast. Every one of them looked like a clueless thug with air for brains. Ig's face fell. More of these idiots." The schemer wiped his sweat. "Just a little hiccup, that's all." Then he barked, "Move out, we're leaving now." "Yes, boss." They chorused, watching closely. Ig noticed a symbol carved on his neck, the lay mark. Hauntingly familiar. "So I was right." Ig seethed, eyes blazing. "This bastard's suspect number one." His fists clenched. "Lie, it's really him." But then he hesitated. His face looked slightly different back then. Behind the mask, it had never seen that lay scar. The more he thought, the hotter his rage burned. In his past life, vengeance unfinished, now the prey stood before him. Hatred flared bright as he glared. "Didn't expect to meet you face-to-face today." The schemer leaned closer, sneering. "What's with that stare, brat?" While he taunted Ig, sudden screams erupted outside. The chaos drew his attention, and he cracked the door open. The sight froze him. His own men writhed on the ground, bodies twitching in agony. Ig instantly understood. A pale red mist floated above their heads. The crimson dust drifted down, coating them. From experience, Ig knew what it was. His eyes darkened. Red dust veins bulged across their skin, bodies trembling violently as their life force drained away. He knew this phenomenon. Touch it, and you either die instantly or turn into a monster. Sure enough, within seconds they mutated, flesh twisting, skin darkening to bloodred. When the change ended, they snarled and charged toward the doorway where Ig and Minoru stood. One red demon spotted them and in a blur, lunged forward, skull first. At terrifying speed, the schemer froze, eyes bulging, mouth agape. His whole body trembled in terror. Panicking, he staggered back, then suddenly grabbed Ig. "Kid, you're my shield," he screamed. He hurled Ig straight toward the charging red demon, flying midair. Ig glared at him, lips quivering with rage. "Using me as bait? You'll regret that. Fine, then let's see what true power looks like." He pulled out the crystal had stolen earlier. Black mist poured forth, swirling ominously. The faint vapors thickened, erupting into a roaring vortex that engulfed Ig. When it stilled, a clawed hand emerged from the smoke, razor sharp. Sleek, wreathed in dark mist, a terrifying yet majestic form. The black smoke condensed into a powerful battle armor. The boy, once adored by his mother, had become a demon of overwhelming might. With a smirk, he declared, "Now this is my real power." Curious about his new strength, Ig thought, "All right, time for a full test drive." The red demon lunged at him, but Ig stood calm and still. With a casual flick of a tendril, he swatted it across the room like a ragdoll. The tendrils fused seamlessly with his body. "So the crystals have merged. I can access new techniques now." It's not control anymore, it's unity. Another creature taller than 2 meters, black-skinned and solid as iron, stood waiting. It lunged with a thunderous punch. But Ig's strength and speed now surpassed human limits. A simple tilt was enough to dodge. His tendrils gathered before its massive eye, forming a gleaming metallic spear. It struck once the spear pierced clean through the beast, killing it instantly. As the corpse hit the floor, his tendrils softened again. Ig grinned. Perfect, my controls smoother than ever. To test further, he coiled his tendrils around the fallen monster, tightening brutally. In a blink, the pressure crushed it to pulp, blood and gore splattering across the floor. The entire scene reflected in the schemer's trembling eyes as he hid behind the shelf. He stammered, "What the hell are you?" Ig glanced his way, thinking, he hasn't seen me transform yet, has he? Calmly, he raised a hand to his neck, adjusting something unseen. Then, eyes cold as death, he said, "Your turn." On one side, burned vengeance on the other. Raw terror. Ig's stare was that of a predator savoring its prey. A dark thrill curled his lips into a grin, twin fangs glinting, eager to sink into flesh. In the next instant, he lunged, eyes blazing with the fury of 2 lifetimes. "You'll pay for everything you did to me." From the smoke, Ig shot out like a living shadow toward his trembling prey. But the sly bastard wasn't about to die quietly. He frowned, steadied himself, and pulled a hidden gun from his coat. Without hesitation, he fired straight at Ig. Seeing the bullet coming, Ig sneered, slow as a turtle. The bullet aimed at his chest, but even his artificial body's speed and power far surpassed any human. Without moving, Ig's aura alone stopped the bullet midair before it clattered to the ground. He thought grimly, "I still need to test the limits of this darkness." Facing Ig, the trickster instantly felt his terrifying presence and stammered, calling him a monster. It grabbed his head without mercy, showing no pity. He flung him away like trash. The deceitful man was finished bleeding. He tried to stand, blood dripping onto the floor. Ig walked slowly toward him as the man trembled, trying to rise. His aura flared violently, each breath a cold announcement. This is the end. The man only managed a faint exhale, choking on blood, gathering his last strength. He croaked that his story was true. Ig frowned, clearly doubtful. Cornered, the trickster pulled a syringe filled with crimson liquid, smirking, "Hey kid, stop acting tough. You haven't won yet." He jammed the needle into himself, injecting the entire strange fluid without hesitation. His body warped hideously, swelling with dark red tumors spreading across his flesh. Ig suddenly remembered the organization had researched such a drug before the Great Cataclysm, a serum that could turn a man into a monster while keeping his mind. Could this be it? The beast's body kept expanding with each breath. Ig turned pale, eyes wide, sweat pouring down. He muttered in shock, could this creature be the one who killed him in his past life? The monster, round and crimson, had metallic shards jutting out like spears, both armor and weapon. Seeing that familiar form, Ig froze. Why him? Though mouthless, the abomination roared thunderously. Without warning, it lashed its tentacles forward. A single near it sent Ig reeling from the air pressure. Stay 1 second longer, and death was certain. Ig leapt back, summoning his own tentacles to counterattack. Yet his blows did nothing, and he gritted his teeth. Stubborn freak. Feeling threatened, the monster howled and launched a fierce assault. Despite the relentless strikes, Ig dodged them all with ease. Then, for a split second, he sensed something wrong. Instinct flared. Ig glanced behind. A massive spear whooshed past his face. He realized it had been a trap from the start. That monster had been his master's loyal servant in his previous life. Still, Ig had to fight back. He crouched, summoning tentacles into a massive tail. Hadn't that thing killed him once already? Before he could counter, the monster struck again. Yet Ig stayed calm, eyes locked on every move it made. Suddenly, a violent blow erupted from underground, tearing the earth apart. Ig landed on a power pole nearby. He didn't rush, just watched, knowing his past and present selves were now 2 different beings. This time, he had better tools and swore he wouldn't die again. Amid fire and smoke, a sudden explosion hit the beast, leaving both sides stunned. It turned toward it, murmuring, "Who did that?" There stood Lo Minoru, gun smoking, silent, squinting at the redayed creature. Minoru muttered, "That monster again. Perfect timing. Let's test what the Donglian Hoi formula can do," he said, calmly reloading with expert precision. He raised his gun, unleashing another volley. This time, the bullets actually worked. The beast howled in agony, flesh tearing under the shots. But something was off. Ig noticed its eyes changing. Then he recalled the tattoo on its neck and smirked darkly. So that's it. In the trickster's mind, memories surfaced. A seductive woman once told him, "Soon this world will fall to ruin. If you want to survive, join the organization." She handed him a small box, "A gift from us, a little present to reveal your true nature. It'll only sting a bit." He eyed the box, sneering. What true nature were they talking about? Did he ever really know himself? Especially after that injection? Only then did he realize he was born to exploit others' weaknesses. One morning, from his memories, Yunlei shouted, "Hey lady, your husband's cheating on you." The plump woman yelled, "What nonsense are you spouting, brat?" The boy pointed, "That man over there, isn't he your husband? He just said you look like a sleeping pig." He mocked, puffing his cheeks. "What did you say?" She screamed, face flushed with rage. Then she smacked the man hard. "You dare cheat on me?" The man stormed off, shouting, "Crazy woman, I'm divorcing you." The woman collapsed, sobbing, "I know, ugly." A small hand rested on her shoulder. The boy smiled gently. I'll show you a better place. A place full of kind people, where no one hurts you." And so he used his gift to manipulate hearts, draining every drop of trust. He knew he was becoming a monster, though still human in mind. His true nature a deceiver, a puppeteer of emotions, a level 4 monster known as the Liar. Back in the present, he dodged the relentless attacks, thinking that power must force victims to see their deepest fears. Striking blindly was useless. He had to wait for the right moment. In the end, he would be the one to finish it. Suddenly, Minoru fired a bullet straight into the trickster's head. The monster roared. "Old man," still meddling. Minoru stayed stoic amid the chaos, rooted like an ancient tree. The trickster screamed, "Damn you, old fossil, die already." He howled, unleashing a storm of acid from the core in his chest. Minoru darted behind a nearby cabinet. He held his breath, waiting for the right chance. As the toxic rain faded, he calmly aimed from cover. One perfect shot rang out. The trickster was hit and cursed. "You stubborn bastard, die!" he roared, hurling a surge of violent energy toward Minoru. Panting and dizzy, he muttered, "Wait, where is he?" Amid the rubble, a red flash flared before he realized. He was surrounded. Ig's blade arm was already at his throat. "Found you!" The trickster panicked, snarling. Damn it, how had Ig broken the illusion so quickly? Ig smirked coldly. Just a petty level 4 monster, a worm that survives by deceiving others. His every word and glare pierced like steel into the enemy's heart. Without hesitation, Ig slashed forward. The trickster dodged narrowly but got his leg ensnared by Ig's tentacles. He growled, "Those cursed tentacles again!" He triggered another illusion, trying to invade Ig's mind, but it had no effect whatsoever. "Impossible. Die!" he screamed, firing a blast of raw energy. Ig chuckled darkly, feeling the echo of his own past death. He roared, channeling all his tatty power, charging like a feral beast. The trickster froze, too slow to react. It struck his head a clean, brutal hit like a slicing storm. The trickster lay mangled, arm useless, bleeding profusely. He groaned, wiping blood from his lips, hissing, "You bastard!" Ig emerged from the smoky haze. He looked up at the sky, thinking, is this really the end? Then he pressed his lips tight. No, this is just the beginning. In 2 hours, the next wave of red dust would arrive, the first apocalypse. The aberrant tide of humanity. It pressed his blade to the trickster's throat. "Wait," the man screamed. "I don't have time for your excuses." In despair, the trickster cursed, "Damn you." He conjured a thick fog, hiding himself completely. At the same time, Minoru witnessed it all. Ig scanned the mist, realizing the wounded foe still had fight left. "Then I'll just cut off your head." Feeling the heat in the air, he swung his blade through the fog. Suddenly, a reed-haired girl appeared before him. Ig froze. Lowering his blade, the girl sobbed. "Would you kill your mother?" It was Lei Lun's trembling voice. He knew it was an illusion but still faltered. You'd even exploit that. From the smoke, the trickster's barrage came crashing toward Ig again. The blows struck him one after another, forcing him back. He fell, gasping, chest burning with pain. The trickster's shrill laughter echoed through the haze. "Too bad you can't kill me." Ig gritted his teeth, eyes fixed on the spear in the monster's hand. "If that pierces me," he muttered, "you'll read my heart." The trickster froze, startled. "So you knew? Your thoughts? Your moves, I see them all." He taunted, "Just one more strike, and you're finished." Ig steadied himself and stood up. "Damn it, guess I'll have to rely on the old man." From behind a crate, Minoru aimed carefully and fired, but the bullet only grazed him. The trickster sneered, "Counting on that geezer?" Ig thought, "Useless, an ordinary gun can't hurt a level 4 beast." The monster smirked. "I can even see where he's hiding." Then he charged madly toward Minoru, roaring, "I am the Lord, you're there, aren't you?" But as he arrived, he stopped short. "Where is he?" A wave of caution hit him. A grenade rolled to his feet. He barely had time to react. The explosion blasted him away. Ears ringing, body trembling. From afar, Ig realized it was a grenade, covering his head as the shockwave hit. He muttered in awe. The old man's quick. "Wait, where is he?" Through the smoke, Minoru emerged, dagger in hand, lunging for the kill. But the trickster sensed it, flinging him aside. "Damn you, old man, die!" he roared, summoning another acid storm upon him. Ig shouted, "Hey, Lai!" The name froze him. "How do you know that?" "Want to see your future?" Ig replied. "What are you talking about?" He snarled. In that distracted instant, Minoru shot him square in the chest. The trickster howled, "You rotten codger." The pain struck like a hammer. His vision spun. What the hell? Before him flashed visions of a future he never wanted to see. "Why must I endure this garbage?" A voice echoed in his mind. "No matter how you try, you'll always be a failure." Ig had invaded his mind, planting illusions of his deepest fears. "That's your future." Ig sneered. "How does it feel?" The trickster clutched his head, screaming, "Stop, stop it." He saw himself mocked, despised, his cold dinners thrown away, memories flooding back. He went mad, refusing to believe such a pitiful fate. Just then, a glowing orb flew toward him instinctively. He caught it. What now? It exploded violently before he could finish. The blast shredded his body, pain consuming him. In his dying frenzy, he lunged at Minoru like a cornered beast. But in that instant, his head was cleaved off, spinning skyward as he screamed, "Impossible! watching the shattered corpse. Ig smirked. I don't care about your future. Looks like this time, you're the one who got fooled. As he fell into the void, Li's mind went blank in disbelief, his face twisted in horror. What is this? Before him, countless blurred visions of the future flickered endlessly. No, what am I seeing? He gasped. In midair, a red light flared. A massive, one-eyed monster slowly emerged, floating in the void. It stared at him in silence, its crimson gaze piercing straight into his soul. His skin turned pale, sweat poured down, body trembling as his spirit was drained away. A second later, he crashed to the ground before the stunned eyes of Ig and Minoru. Ig panted, thinking, it's over. That hit was fatal. I can't stay here any longer. But on the brink of death, Li burst out laughing madly. So this is what they warned me about. He glared at Ig, whispering hoarsely, now I understand what they meant. Beware the child. The child, Ig repeated, frowning in confusion. Then Li rasped out the truth had realized long ago. You are the source of the disaster. The words froze Ig in place. Heart pounding, dark omen rising. Li laughed weakly, voice dripping with menace. You started it all. You buried your own peace. The organization will never forgive you. Before his threat could finish, a searing beam of light shot through the air, piercing his body. Both Ig and Minoru turned toward the blazing light amid the thick smoke. A cold voice spoke. When you can kill your enemy, that's power. When you can't, you are the weakness. The speaker drove a heavy armored vehicle forward. The door opened. A masked man stepped out, calm and poised, a massive weapon slung over his shoulder. His voice cut through the haze. And now, Zhang, you'll face yourself. Seeing the newcomer, Ig tensed. If the military was involved, things were about to get messy. Without hesitation, he vanished into the shadows, leaving Minoru confused. The old man blinked, then heard a familiar call. Sensei. The masked man slowly removed his cover, revealing a composed face and a sharp, cold smile. You still remember what I told you, don't you? It was none other than Captain Ling, the snow wolf. Just then, behind him, a lurking monster crept closer, ready to strike. Seizing the moment, it lunged at Ling with terrifying speed. In a flash, gunshot rang out. The beast exploded into pieces. Ling's eyes glinted with icy confidence. He hadn't even looked back. From a hidden corner, Ig watched silently, gaze fixed on the man. He didn't even move. Ig thought in disbelief, recognizing the face. Minoru sighed in relief. Ling, kid, what are you doing here? I told you I have to find my granddaughter. But Ling stepped forward solemnly. Sensei, this is a state of emergency. Please return. As he spoke, he swiftly pulled out his phone and began tapping. Your granddaughter is safe. We're protecting her. The army needs you back in command. On the screen appeared an image of the girl, unharmed. Seeing her, Minoru's face darkened, eyes heavy with thought. Hearing this, Ig quietly analyzed, so he was once the army's commander. The realization struck. Every puzzle piece in his mind fell into place. Ling then raised the phone toward him, voice sharp. Would you like to confirm her safety yourself? Sensei. Minoru frowned, face torn between frustration and hesitation. At last he sighed, stepping past Ling. Do whatever you want, let's go. Ig stood frozen, thoughts in chaos. What should I do now? Suddenly, sharp pain surged through his body. Cold sweat poured uncontrollably. His body stiffened, then collapsed to the floor. Damn it. Hearing the noise, Ling spun toward the sound. A bullet whizzed past, hitting the wood near Ig's hiding spot. Had reverted into a frightened child, teeth clenched to hold back a cry. Moments later, Ling reached him. He leveled his gun at Ig's head, voice calm but chilling. A child. So the monster I saw was you. He tightened his finger on the trigger. It panicked, is gonna shoot without even checking. Thankfully, Minoru rushed in, blocking him. Li Zhu, stop. He shot him a stern, warning glare. I left this child here on purpose. Yet Ling remained eerily composed. I see. The Sun knelt, gently lifting Ig. You did well, kid. Very well. Leaning close, he whispered softly, listen, play dumb till the very end. Ig had wanted to resist but froze upon hearing that. A moment later, he burst into tears so naturally that no one doubted it. Ling smirked. You two make quite the pair, don't you? Sensei. He strolled after them, half mocking. Hey kid, wanna come with us? It clung to Minoru's chest, silently studying Ling. The aura around him felt heavy, metallic, unnervingly cold. He frowned slightly. Something fell off after seeing Living's face clearly. A memory flickered. Had seen that face before, within the organization. Later, Ling set Ig onto a bed. Ig stared at him, digging through his memories. If he remembered right, this man was a key figure of the organization, a dangerous one called the Sacred Name. His power, blood manipulation, able to control or even detonate blood as a weapon. Meanwhile, Ling silently examined Ig. This kid isn't asleep. He passed out from oxygen loss. It kept up the act, hoping he'd leave. He almost killed a child, Ig thought warily. Senses on full alert, suddenly feeling Living's gaze, he shut his eyes tighter, breathing evenly. Lian leaned closer, eyes cold as ice. His ability awakened too fast. The Red Lotus hasn't even begun, yet has already adapted since before the cataclysm. When did he awaken? He grinned wickedly. Time for a little test. He raised his hand, pink energy glowing as he pressed it toward Ig's forehead. Be good, don't resist. Ig clenched his jaw, enduring in silence. Pulling back, Lang stepped away, eyes still fixed on Ig's motionless body. Before leaving, he muttered with a sly smile, "This is going to be interesting." When his footsteps faded, it cracked one eye open to confirm he was gone. He took a deep breath, ready to move, then sprang up from the small bed. Let's begin. His plan had worked perfectly. The monster had slain earlier had mental-type powers. Celestial Devour and Mind Shield. By absorbing its barrier skill, it could now protect his mind from illusions. He had timed it perfectly when the fake blood slowed, emerged into his body, fooling every sensor. Ig glanced around, surrounded by rows of cages, and what chilled him most was they were all filled with children, each one labeled Calamity Subjects. Calamity Subjects. Ig muttered, "I've heard that name before in my past life." Back then, he hadn't been qualified to know its true meaning, but now it was clear Ling worked for the organization, knew everything. They'd wiped out the army, and old Minoru might be on the verge of rebellion. The old man just wanted to find his only granddaughter, perhaps because he didn't fully trust Ling. The more Ig thought, the worse his headache got. What exactly is this so-called test? One thing was certain: the situation was a disaster. Truth itself was buried in fog. Len, why are she and that dog even here? Ig shook his head, forcing focus. No time to worry about others, I need to escape. He gathered all his awakened energy into his palms. Power flared outward, but nothing happened. No flash, no blast, no destruction. Damn it, my power's malfunctioning. He recalled the crystal had absorbed it. Had fused all his energies into something called Dark Abyss. The problem: fusion erased every old ability. Now he only retained 2 Dark Abyss and Divine Barrier. Divine Barrier defended against mental attacks, while Dark Abyss was too destructive to use here safely. I'll have to tread carefully until I know their goal. Ig told himself, if I can't use my energy, what can I even do? He sighed. Right now, I really am just a kid. Then he glanced sideways and froze. Heron lay in a nearby cage. From her legs sprouted twisting green vines, making a gape in shock. She's a compatible one. There are others like me. Disbelieving, Ig scanned every cage, every face. Each child radiated strange energy, one after another. All the same, impossible, all of them compatible. In my past life, people like that were imprisoned, and now they've all been brought to this twisted place. Suddenly, a vine lashed around Ig's leg, hosting him into the air. He struggled hard but couldn't break free. Damn it, why can't I shake it off? Do I have to use my power right here? At that moment, a boy approached, simply grabbing the vine. He caused it to dissolve into thin air. Ig fell to the floor, luckily unhurt. The boy stepped closer, voice calm and cold. "You should've just stayed asleep," then ordered, "Be quiet and obey." "Rookie." Ig looked up and met his gaze, a kid, yet brimming with raw authority and pride that even Ig silently respected. The boy looked about 5, yet controlled his power with masterful ease. Then a sharp, familiar siren blared. Both clicked their tongues. "So it's starting." "Huh, what?" Ig blurted. "Tiu," and the boy turned and bolted like the wind. Ig frowned, trying to run. "Huh." Suddenly, the door burst open, footsteps thundered, and a panicked nurse yelled, "Inspection time. Quick, get all the kids out." A nurse saw Ig sprawled on the floor and gasped, "Huh, why's he down there?" Ig squeezed his eyes shut, chanting, "Still asleep, still asleep." Without hesitation, she picked him up. Heavy footsteps echoed. Ig fought back fear. What were they planning for these kids? They took them deep into a dark underground basement. Ig peeked around, cold, damp, creepy enough to raise goosebumps. What hellhole is this? He thought. Are they making kids fight to the death? A familiar aura smelling of the organization made him snap his eyes open. He scrambled up. Other dazed kids blinked around, confused. Then he met the sly smile of Li Wang, instantly tensing up. A chilling noise. He turned and froze. A massive lizard spirit was about to swallow a sobbing boy whole. It trembled. So that's why no kids survived last time. They'd all become food. Yet the lizard couldn't move. Chains shackled its legs, which it quickly noticed. Instead of relief, suspicion flared. He watched the beast warily. Shackled didn't mean safe, just temporary. Ig knew that all too well. The kids began to panic, eyes wide, tears streaming. Yen was the loudest, sobbing uncontrollably. Saiwan rushed over, hugged him tight, and ran from the thrashing monster. At a safer corner, he set Mun down, inhaled deeply, readying himself. He straightened and looked up toward the shadow above. Lo Wang silently observed every move Saiwan made. They're making kids fight monsters, forcing awakening. Ig gritted his teeth. It was all part of the organization's Predator project. Ig pictured Li Wang's wicked grin. "You're next." Li Wang. The teacher sure acted well. Li Wang looked down smugly, eyes saying, "Don't disappoint me." His finger pressed a red button, voice gleeful. "Let's begin." Chain snapped. The giant lizard was free. It roared and charged straight for the children. Ig was only a few steps away. He gritted his teeth, sweat dripping. Here it comes. The beast towered 10 times their size. One swing of its claws sent Ig flying, slamming him to the floor. He slid back, growling, "Damn it, I've beaten a tier 2 beast before. But this..." His eyes darted to the trembling kids huddled in the corner. Did they stand a chance? Pale faces, shaking legs, no one dared move. Terrified kid burst into tears, the echo making Ig tense up. This was bad. The lizard, triggered by the sound, spun around and lunged toward the crying child. Target changed. Heart pounding. The kids froze like statues as the beast charged. Suddenly, Thorny vines shot out, wrapping around one child. But they weren't from the monster, they were binding its own legs. Someone had acted from the shadows, none other than Iggy smirked, giving a proud thumbs up. Above, Lawang clapped in excitement. Good, keep going. Vine ability. Huh, not bad for a beginner. The brat hadn't shown his full power yet, but his potential was undeniable. Hidden power only awakens when one's pushed to the edge. Lawang reactivated the lizard, its feral eyes glowing brighter with rage. In a flash, the vines tore apart, muscles bulged, chest hardened, snapping the rest clean off. Ig's satisfaction lasted 2 seconds before he cursed under his breath. Damn it! He spotted Heron near the entrance, only level 2. No match for this nearly level 3 beast. Ig grabbed a vine, ignoring the thorn slicing his palms. No choice. He had to act. His small body weaved deftly through the swinging vines. Then, like lightning, he launched himself straight at the monster. Midair! A shockwave burst from his palm, slamming into the lizard. The hit dazed it. Ig thought, if only I had a barrier, I could neutralize its force. Clinging tight, he scanned for a weak spot among the vines. What if I strike here? E.g., now's the chance. A thunderous kick smashed into the creature's jaw. The lizard reeled back, wobbling, nearly crushing the vine mess beneath. Ig stepped forward but slipped on something. What the heck? He ducked behind a vine cluster, muttering, whatever's still alive, that's what counts. Not a bad result. Seemed he hadn't been spotted. But before he finished the thought, the monster's tail whipped around. It coiled around Ig, lifting him up. Oh, come on, he yelped. In a blink, he was dragged into a dark pit. Wind roared past, heart stopping. Then a robotic tentacle shot out after him. It caught his arm just in time. A gasp. Half panicked, half stunned. The robot's blade sliced the lizard's tail clean off. It turned to see the beast's huge body plummet into the abyss below. He eyed the robot suspiciously. It had just saved him. But why? Hot's robot, he muttered. The robot's camera swiveled toward him, a red light blinking. It stared for a moment, and then gently set him down in a safer spot. Ig examined it again, unease sparking. No, this wasn't Hot's unit. It was a security bot from Project Hunting Dog. In the control room, Lawang stood before the screen, watching everything unfold. His subordinate, Ganu, reported that the safety system was active and asked if they should begin the hunting dog project. Lawang chuckled, recalling Hot's capture, muttering proudly that bringing him back was the perfect move. He clenched his fist, eyes gleaming. This would complete his grand plan. On screen, Ig appeared, giggling as if having fun. Lawang frowned, grumbling, don't tell me this brat thinks it's a game. Then he smirked. If it's the master, saving a random kid isn't that strange. Ig faked cheerfulness, but inside he burned with bitterness. Must he bow again to the organization just to live? That would be just like before. When will I stop being their hunting dog? Ig thought, gritting his teeth. Eyeing the security bot and plotting escape, he slowly approached the cliff edge, then gasped, no way! Below, the giant lizard was still alive, clawing its way back up. Ig's mind raced. A reckless grin spread. If that's the only path to live, better die than kneel. While the security bot was still unaware, Ig threw himself into the abyss just as planned. The robot instantly dove after him. At the same moment, the lizard leapt upward and they collided midair. A thunderous crash, sparks, and metal fragments flew. Ig smirked as both robot and beast plummeted together. Ganu shouted in panic. A level 2 creature hadn't reached the disposal pit, and a bot plus a specimen had fallen too. He hurriedly asked, Colonel, should we send a rescue team? Lawang waved it off. No need. Too deep, not worth saving. He calculated Haas robot couldn't even beat a level 5 monster. Better not disturb whatever sleeps in that disposal plant. Not even him could. The thought darkened Lawang's face. Passing Ganu, he coldly ordered, stop wasting effort. Ganu stiffened and obeyed. Lawang paused mid-step. Something unsaid lingered. His icy voice rose. Suspend Project Hunting Dog. Resume Project Painter's Proof. In the darkness, a black light vortex spiraled, compressing into a fist-sized orb that fell, spinning fiercely with a low hum. As it neared the ground, a gust of invisible wind lifted it, setting it down gently. From its core burst twin streams, black and white, twisting into opposing light bands that thickened the heavy air. A second later, amid the energy storm, Ig's form materialized. His body tensed instinctively in a combat stance. He took a deep breath, scanning around. What kind of cursed place is this? All around was a massive junkyard. Gray limestone peaks, heaps of trash, and a stench of mold and rot in every breath. He lowered his gaze, cautiously sweeping each shadowed corner. Between two towering scrap heaps, he spotted a rusty iron gate and exit. Ig brightened, but his joy was short-lived. A faint sound whispered through the air, soft yet sharp enough to snap his nerves alert. His hand tightened as his eyes darted toward the noise. From the junk piles, dark figures crawled out, tongues slithering hungrily. Ig stayed calm, shaking his head. What a pain! But when he saw them clearly, he froze, puzzled. They still looked fresh. Ig smirked. Let me help you rest in peace. A cold grin flashed as black energy spiraled around his fingertip, condensing into a dark vortex. The monster's instincts screamed attack now or die, so they all lunged at once in feral madness. One leaped first, claws slicing for Ig's head, but he tilted aside effortlessly. In the same instant, his right fist shot forward, punching through its skull. Blood sprayed as he pulled out a dripping crimson core. The others howled and charged from every side in a berserk frenzy. Ig's arm spun, slicing like twin blades. Four heads flew before anyone blinked. But that was only the prelude. They kept coming. He danced through the gaps like a shadow. Everywhere he passed, blood gushed, bodies ripped, limbs and heads soaring. Every strike hit true. None even screamed before dying. Minutes later, the path behind him was a river of dark red. The stench of blood and rot thickened the air. Ig calmly leaned against a mound of corpses. With a faint grin, he murmured, "Piece of cake." That old familiar thrill was returning. A dark tail extended from his back, piercing corpses to extract still warm crimson cores. He missed not a single one. Soon a pile of trophies gleamed before him. Resting his chin on his hand, Ig chuckled. Quite the haul. Absorbing them might take a while, but no hurry. Those beasts were probably just level 1s, maybe a few level 2s. Time to find the way out. Suddenly, a strange aura brushed against Ig's senses. His eyes sharpened. Another one. In the dim gloom stood a silent figure. The stranger made no effort to hide as Ig looked. He swung his sword, its pressure rippling through the air. A long crystal on the hilt revealed his rank. Ig sneered, "So you're the king here?" Pathetic. The man's body began to distort, stretching like it would tear apart. In a blink, he split into 3 forms still linked by muscle strands, a sight that made Ig grin with fascination. A monster that can divide itself? Rare indeed. It'll take that power. With that, Ig sprang forward, streaking through the air toward the 3 figures, leaving a sharp afterimage behind. A half-hidden grin curved on his lips. He was the perfect image of a hunter savoring his prey. The 3 figures didn't retreat. Instead, they charged forward, ready for a death match. Ig expected a brutal clash, but to his surprise, as he passed them, all 3 dodged aside. His motion faltered midair, shock flashing in his eyes. Turning slowly, he saw the odd truth. The trio wasn't attacking him but slaughtering the remaining monsters. Turns out some beast had survived. Now they were being sliced apart by cold, precise sword strikes. Limbs flew, blood drenched the ground, and the tense air dissolved into an eerie silence broken only by dripping gore. Ig chuckled darkly, voice dripping with mockery and challenge. "Not very friendly. Huh, I thought you were after me." Not ignoring me, he stepped closer, closing the gap until they could feel his breath. Ig provoked them, moving nimbly. Eyes sharp, yet they stood still as statues. His curiosity grew. "Why no attack?" An idea flashed. Ig leaned sideways, peering behind them. Could they be guarding the exit? A sly grin spread. If that's the case, no need to waste time. He moved instantly. Before they could react, Ig unleashed full speed toward the rusty metal door in the shadows. His suspicion that they were gatekeepers now felt almost certain. Sure enough, a freezing, killing intent surged the moment he moved. They all turned and charged. Sword auras slicing the air as Ig dodged reflexively. The first blade missed his chin by a hair, then another strike changed angle midair, cleaving downward with terrifying force. Ig's pupils shrank. He leapt back just in time. The blade slammed into the ground, carving a deep crack and sending debris flying. Breathing hard, sweat beading, Ig muttered, "Fast," and flipped midair, landing smoothly. Relief was brief. A shadow appeared behind him, silent and sharp. A sword swung, icy pain flashing. Ig spun around, cold sweat breaking out. What the? No time to think. Instinct screamed, and he jumped clear, pushing his speed to the limit. He tried to widen the gap from his pursuers. His left hand gripped his bleeding arm. Body taught insane speed. I underestimated it. Yet instead of fear, wild excitement burned. He laughed, eyes blazing. "Tough ones. This is getting fun. Just an arm. No big deal." He shrugged, but this time, the 3 figures moved. All 3 lunged at once, storm-fast, surrounding Ig from every angle. Even unarmed, he dodged and countered with lethal precision. The ground cracked. Dust exploded, turning the field into a haze of smoke and clashing steel. Then, something bizarre happened. Ig's severed arm stopped bleeding. It was knitting itself back together. Flesh regenerating. In a blink, his arm was whole again. Flawless. Cold grin flashed as the trio rushed in. Ig didn't dodge. He drove his newly healed arm straight through one's chest, blood erupting in a crimson spray. From the shadows, Ig's pale but satisfied smile gleamed. He gripped the victim's wrist tight, spun in a perfect arc, then hurled the body like a weapon into the other 2. Laughing wildly, Ig shouted, "Here's one back for you." With that, he let go. All 3 were flung into the towering scrap piles. Dust and smoke billowed, then cleared, revealing chaos. 3 broken figures bleeding amid the junk. One lay too battered to rise. The other 2 barely stood. They tightened their grips on their swords, eyes icy and locked on Ig. The 2 sides faced off again, the air thick, silent, ready to explode. Ig twirled his healed arm with a cheeky grin. "Guess we're even now. Good thing it grows back fast." The 2 remaining stood side by side as cold wind swept the bloody field. Then, without warning, they attacked together. Their speed blurred reality, only icy streaks of light slashing from every direction. Ig gritted his teeth, defending fiercely, but the relentless strikes tore at his body, his breath turning rag. A hot taste of blood rose in his throat. They're stronger than before. He realized they were sharing energy between forms. The fewer bodies, the greater the power. Grinding his teeth, Ig focused, pain searing his trembling arm. What an annoying opponent. A single lapse and one figure spun, delivering a vicious roundhouse kick straight to his face. It crossed his arms to block, but the force blasted him backward, slamming him into stone. Dizzy, his mind raced. He had to strike them all at once before they merged. Bracing a foot on the ground, black energy whirled from his body, forming a storm-like aura. Ig searched his memories for forgotten techniques. That darkness still holds untapped power. A time seemed to slow behind him, flickered the faint image of himself as a child. A wicked grin curved his lips. So that's it, I finally get it. Lost in thought, he barely noticed the three closing in, blades hissing toward him. Ig stood still, eyes eerily calm, utterly fearless. Then suddenly, his lower body dissolved into swirling black mist. In an instant, his entire form merged with the storming smoke. He finally understood there was no need to stay bound to human shape. When the smoke cleared, it had become his child form again, innocent face, bright eyes, yet that twisted grin broke the illusion. He'll never see this coming, he thought. The three figures froze, staring warily at him, blades gleaming under the dim light. Thick black liquid gathered above, coiling into a grotesque orb covered in gaping mouths lined with fangs. Instinct screamed danger, their muscles tensed, bracing for hopeless defense. Useless. Before they even registered its form, the black mass flashed past, half of one body vanished without a trace. Silence fell. Ig reverted to his adult self. Eyes cold, the three corpses lay scattered amid twisted metal and smoke. He stood over them, thinking idly, when these forms die, do they return to the original? His gaze fell upon one corpse's chest. There, a metal tag bore a wolf head emblem and the words Lieutenant Shang Beitang, Snow Erasure Unit. The name stunned Ig. A chill ran down his spine. They sent Snow Erasure operatives here already. Amid the blood-soaked haze, Ig's dark tail slid into the corpse. From Sang Beitang's body, he drew out a glowing crimson gem. Ig stared at, astonishment flickering in his eyes. Carefully, he lifted it with his tail, detaching the gem. Red light washed over his face, revealing a pensive, unreadable look. This form, a thought struck, could that monster have been level 5? His eyes drifted to the other mangled bodies. He exhaled in relief. Good thing I killed them before they fused. The idea of level 5 beasts weighed on him at this stage already. Suddenly, the memory of a crimson sky from his past life surged, dread rising. Is the apocalypse starting again? In that haze, Hannah's gentle face shone like sunset warmth. No more urgent. 2 days from now, the red dust outbreak begins. I must find her before it's too late. With resolve, Ig slung his bag of trophies over his shoulder and headed toward the distant iron gate. There, a faintly glowing emergency exit sign cut through the darkness. Just as his hand touched the handle, a sudden sound froze him. Someone was coming. Luckily, his reflexes saved him before the door opened. He halted completely and vanished into hiding. Heavy, urgent footsteps echoed. A group appeared, faces tense and grim. 2 soldiers followed close, rifles raised. Move and you're dead, they barked. When the figurehead didn't react, one snapped, hold fire. The leader, hot, stopped, half smiling. At least let me take off my coat first. Okay. Without waiting, she shed her heavy jacket, drawling teasingly. Too hot to bear, she waved lazily to disperse the heat and slowly scanned the room. The more she looked, the stranger it felt. The once familiar chamber was now a wreck. Hot froze, then screamed, what the hell? Who turned this place into a dump? Give me back my room. The soldiers lost patience. One growled, shut up and move. She ignored him, frowning with open irritation. Yo, just got here. Huh. Then she smirked coolly. Guess you don't know where you are. This is Lady Hot's domain. Her declaration was punctuated by a low, whistling hum slicing through the air. The sound reverberated, threading through the single shaft of light in the room. Alarmed, the soldiers scanned around. What was that noise? Before they could react, Hot's robots lashed out, tentacles wrapping tightly around them. The 2 men were yanked into the air amid shrieking metal and chaos. In a flash, they were sucked into a blinding beam and vanished without trace. Hot stepped on a still-warm mechanical tail, chuckling darkly. Serves you right. Energy swirled around her as she sighed. What a bother, all because of those pests. Her brow furrowed with faint sadness at the wrecked room. Then her lips curved. Time to clean up. Instantly, waves of robots descended, forming a tight circle. Hidden monsters lurking near the rocks hesitated, but once detected, the robots attacked swiftly, wiping them out in seconds. Silence fell after the blitz. Then one robot detected something unusual. Its camera lens swept around, locking onto a human heat source. As the target came into focus, a sharp tail shot forward at near-instant speed, but it caught it midair, neutralizing the strike before it landed. The moment his hand gripped the tentacle, a chill ran down his spine. He spun aside instinctively. In front of him stood Hot, charging at full power with terrifying speed. Her blow crashed down. Ig twisted back, dodging by inches. Instead of anger, she smiled with thrill, clearly entertained. Before the air could settle, Hot's figure blurred and vanished. A heartbeat later, she reappeared before Ig, pivoting into a fierce sweeping kick. Eyes locked on him, her brow furrowed, voice edged with suspicion. So you're the one who wrecked my castle. Ig just smirked, replying with a casual compliment. Didn't expect you to be this strong. Irritated by the answer, she snapped, this is nothing. Suddenly, Ig's pupils contracted. It sensed something shocking. Every Hotbot tail snapped open, their metal tips locking onto him. Hot leapt clear of the blast zone just before the pressure wave hit. A violent explosion followed. Rock and debris flew. Smoke billowed thick. Hot landed gracefully to the side, eyes fixed on the swirling haze. When nothing stirred after a while, her lips curved in a triumphant smile. The surrounding robots lowered their guard, thinking it was over. Then a beam of light shot straight through the robot ranks. It happened so fast Hot froze. Terror flashing across her face, the energy hid within the dust. It sliced through each machine, leaving scorched trails and twisted metal. Fear spiked as the bot beside her exploded into ruin in an instant. Only when it collapsed did she truly grasp the danger closing in. A strange realization hit this power: he was the compatible one. Through the lingering haze, a voice rose, mocking yet reproachful. "Yeah, I messed up not sharing food at the supermarket, but this is a bit much, don't you think?" Hot blinked, stunned. "What? Don't tell me, Ka." Ig only shrugged, calm as ever. Before she could react, he vanished from sight. A heartbeat later, Ig stood right behind her fast. She breathed. A thin black streak grazed her neck, freezing her in place. He smirked. "Got you." Hot. Sweat beaded on her brow, her breath an even weight. "Don't kill me." Ig merely glanced at her, retracting his weapon without a word. Hot seized the moment, retreating quickly to a safer distance. Her eyes stayed locked on him, mind spinning. Who is this guy? Truly dangerous. Breaking the silence, Ig asked, "This base, it belongs to the Ha people, right?" She nodded slightly. He continued, a tone thoughtful. "I need to know what happened here. Any leads?" Ig found it odd this hacker's base was surprisingly neat and orderly. Hot pointed at him, clicking her tongue in annoyance. "You're seriously weird." After a while, she and her robots started cleaning up the mess, with a tool clamped between her teeth. She muttered, "Who wrecked this place? I can't even get into the lab." When the cleanup ended, it just lay back, resting, clearly not helping. Meanwhile, the touty beast munched contentedly on some mana stones. Ig's mind flickered with a thought about time efficiency. Since leveling up, Touty's tail no longer needed to absorb skills the old way. What once took 3,060 seconds now happened almost instantly. It had learned to convert energy for extended skill duration. Not bad at all. He thought he'd keep this power secret for a while. Still fidgeting with curiosity, Hot wiped sweat and dust off her face, reporting crisply, "Done." After a hard struggle, the stone wall before Hot split open, revealing a faint glowing crack. Light spilled out, yet she seemed unfazed, landing calmly with composed grace. Before them lay a research lab filled with high-tech gear and humming computer arrays. Stepping in, Hot muttered almost to herself. For the past year, her eyes locked on the central glow, fingers dancing on keys. She declared, "Today, I'll show you who destroyed this place." The precise sequence ended with a firm enter, and the entire system shifted modes. The screen blinked back the words, "Searching." Moments later, Laios' figure appeared, standing silent at the very door. Then came the click of heels behind, stopping beneath the cold white light. From the haze stepped Enya, her dark glasses exuding an icy allure that froze the air. Spotting a familiar face, she smirked. "Yo, Laia, looks like you've stumbled into quite the trap." At her taunt, he frowned but stayed composed. "Enya, I don't have time for your games." His cool tone only amused her more. Such a charming face, yet so easily irritated. Before finishing, a gleaming weapon materialized in Enya's hand, catching the cold light. Instinct kicked and Leo spun around, gun drawn in a sharp breath. "What?" But before he could shoot, a chilling gust swept past. Enya vanished, leaving only a flickering afterimage darting behind him. His gun split in two with a clatter to the floor. Startled, he clenched his fist, eyes tense on the woman. She was truly dangerous. As if predicting him, Enya twisted her wrist for another strike. He had to admit, she was strong. Seeing her emotionless face, he hissed through his teeth, "Damn it." Then Enya slowly pulled out a hairpin, her movement oddly casual, like it was nothing. Without pause, she spun midair, her motion fluid beyond belief. She landed just far enough to stay out of his reach. Lyle stood clutching his wound, breath uneven, barely steady. Enya brushed her hair, smirking. "What's wrong?" Shaking over a tiny cut already. Tilting her head, she added flatly, "Without special treatment, you'll bleed till you die." Her lips curled mockingly. Quite the hassle for a soldier, no less. Finally, Lai spoke, suspicion in his tone. "You attack a soldier inside a military base, what are you thinking?" His sharp gaze lingered on her clearly. Enya was hiding something. Seeing his tension, she only chuckled, replying slowly, Now, don't be so uptight. I'm just here to sell you something special." As she spoke, Enya swung a test tube glowing faintly with mysterious light. The name made Lao freeze. He repeated, "Special pharmaceutical." He instinctively stepped closer, trying to get a better look at the thing. The instant he lost focus, Enya glided forward, gently pushing her glasses up. Before he could react, the Shilun Ding Ming activated spiraling light engulfed everything. Invisible waves radiated from Enya, spreading through the air, brushing Liao with chilling stillness. His pupils contracted wildly, reflecting chaotic, unspeakable visions. Fragmented memories surged back, terror as a monstrous being tore through everything. He and his comrades ran in panic while that abomination's roar echoed behind them. Then came the moment Laos' body warped, tendrils erupting from his flesh. The sharp, searing pain ripped through him, but he clung to consciousness, faces around him especially Xiao and twisted with fear and disgust. In the final instant, 3 control levels exploded, ending it all in cold thunder. The shock jolted Liao back to reality drenched in sweat. He gasped, "What the hell just happened?" Looking up at Enya, his eyes flickered with confusion and caution. "What do you want from me?" She didn't mince words. "You're the one destined to receive my gift." A card appeared, the chariot, shining like a tarot key just unlocked. Liao gripped the veil, laughing manically. Haha, knowing its hidden meaning, he didn't hesitate. He plunged the needle into his flesh. So that's it. At that moment, Ig witnessed Enya seducing Liao into the organization. Teeth clenched as he zoomed in on her face. Hot's fingers flew over the keyboard at his command, typing at lightning speed. Seconds later, Enya's AD portrait appeared, and Ig instantly recognized her past and present a high-ranking member. An organization of individuals bearing tarot symbols. And clearly, Enya was just key. She was nearly the leader, holder of the Wheel of Fate, evident from how she successfully manipulated Liao's future. Once incestuous hyperadaptive being in his past life, Ig knew it too well. The pattern in her eyes was Shilun Ding Ming. His jaw tightened, gaze icy with fury. So it's her. Meanwhile, Hot was the opposite of her name, burning hot with barely contained rage. Yet what puzzled her more was why Ig kept staring at that soul-glowing source. Regaining composure, she frowned. Who is this woman? I've never seen her before. Then the next thought struck, draining her color, a chill racing down her spine. Unbelievable, Liao betrayed the military. I was sure it was someone else. She glanced toward Ig, who'd been watching the whole time. Her eyes narrowed. Clearly, Hot was plotting something behind his back, and pretending to fan herself. She secretly activated her Miniscot drone, keeping it as silent as possible. But as she was sneaking around, Ig's sudden voice made Hot jump. Yes, I know already. The feed switched back to Enya, her proud voice echoing. You've seen Fate's injustice, haven't you? It'll give you a stage for revenge. Swiftly, she offered. How about here? Liao panted heavily, excitement from his newfound power still surging through him. He burst out laughing. I'm really looking forward to this. Soon after, in a desolate rocky land, something massive lay concealed. Batang, the level 5 monster Ig once faced then still human, appeared in the video, calmly asking, Liao, you're using this for another experiment. Unlike his monstrous future self, he smiled brightly, the screen glowing with his grin. If the master finds out, you get scolded. You know, a faintly dangerous aura seeped from Liao as he shrugged lightly. Maybe so. He slipped on a smooth, harmless-looking mask behind it hid unfathomable calculation. If it works, no one will ever know. When his finger hit the trigger, the giant cage blazed up, fire shooting to the cavern roof. Trusting him completely, Beitang didn't even flinch. The soldiers watching, however, stared in horror. Within seconds, the veil dissolved, red dust swirling violently through the area. The dust fell like late-season rain, coating the unlucky ones nearby. A brutal shockwave erupted, carrying annihilating force. Worst came next. Everyone, even Batang, widened their eyes, struggling to comprehend the scene. None noticed the fine dust silently seeping into their bodies, racing toward their brains. Before realizing the danger, unlucky soldiers began mutating, flesh tearing, screams echoing. In moments, they turned monstrous, tearing into their own comrades. Batang, a will-hardened warrior, resisted longer, but he knew what awaited. There was no escape. And the architect of this tragedy was none other than Liao. Now, a satisfied grin spread across his face as Batang roared. What are you doing? He didn't answer directly, only said calmly, you are special but still far from qualified. Then he turned away, murmuring, one day, he'll undergo the baptism of red dust and become the perfect adapter. We were comrades once, grew up with Ru Yuan, fought side by side, yet in the end, you mercilessly destroyed me. The vision Anya showed Fan Liao's hatred had never been given a chance to live. Is this future real? Beitang stood frozen, chilled to the core. What the hell are you talking about? He barked, eyes sharp, but Liao regained his calm, studying him before replying. Now it's your turn to mutate. As the last word left his lips, the monster's lungs. Liao alone remained human amid the chaos. Before they could reach him, he unleashed his power. An explosion erased everything in a flash, wiping green slime off his face. Liao stayed calm, muttering, monster blood really is filthy. Yet behind him, one trembling survivor remained. Sadly, that person Liao San screamed before getting any answers. The remaining researchers backed toward the door, but couldn't escape the slimy creatures closing in. None survived. All three were devoured, swallowed into grotesque oblivion. Meanwhile, on the other side, Batang struggled against cellular bursts and the slime engulfing him. Through blurred vision, he saw a distant gate swing open and cursed. Damn it! Even knowing it was futile, his sense of justice made him roar. Liao, don't let them escape. But Liao, the orchestrator, replied coldly. You don't know what they'll do. There are many innocents out there. Suddenly, he raised his hand, as if seizing Batang's very soul, firm and decisive. The narration echoed. Liao might have stopped the assault, but his real goal was singular. To eliminate every survivor inside. The fun was only beginning. Though himself a victim, Beitang held firm to his ideals. We can't let the mutated ones get out. If this continues, all hope is lost. Despite the searing pain of the red dust eating him alive, he thought of those outside his master, hot, and all the innocents waiting for protection. Determination blazed in his nearly crimson eyes. He'll guard this place and let no one escape. Unlike the mindless soldiers, he still clung to the last fragments of reason. Bei Tang made himself the final gatekeeper, cleaving through the mutant slime with a single swing. His sword shone bright, unyielding, while made manifest, though his mind was nearly gone. Instinct drove him to fight on. No one knew how long had passed before the gate between worlds was suddenly pushed open. Sion entered, eyes blazing red, scanning the blood-soaked room, sweat dripping. His gaze froze on the twisted figure of his old comrade from the Snow Wolf squad. Bei Tang. The sight sent him into panic, blurting out, "What happened here?" Before he could recover, his eyes caught something far more horrifying. Piles of corpses, his comrades stacked high, the stench of blood choking the air. He stammered, "Don't tell me you did this." Amid the carnage, a faint groan came from one fallen soldier still alive. Seeing that, Sion spun and bolted, shouting, "Wait here. It'll bring help." Panic marked every step and breath as Sion bolted from that blood-soaked place. Sadly, though he meant to help, a fatal strike pierced his chest. Blood burst scarlet, and the cause was none other than Bei Tang, blinded by his obsession to protect. With his mind gone, he could no longer tell friend from foe. Unlucky Xiaoan became the next victim, his strength fading after the devastating blow. He collapsed on the cold floor, unable to rise. From there, he heard Bei Tang's broken voice, trembling, "Dunko Lia Dunko." He tried to lift his head, brain splitting as he struggled to grasp what was happening. But no miracle came. Xiaoan fell limp, utterly spent. Suddenly, a strange energy distorted his image on the screen, violent interference. And then, the signal went dead. Only static lines remained. Hot gritted her teeth, snapping, cameras fried. "That's all I've got, no more data." But for Ig, that was enough to spark countless theories. He raised a brow, thinking, so Ha doesn't know that woman either. His tense eyes fixed on the flustered hacker before the glowing monitor. She clearly knew too little about the organization. Following the thread, he realized something just as dire. The greatest threat now was the reddest creature that had killed him in his past life. If the organization had it imprisoned, didn't that make them the true cause of the catastrophe? If so, the Snow Erasure squad had every reason to destroy them. The grim tension broke with a loud stomach growl from Hot. Of course, Ig frowned too, realizing he hadn't eaten after countless battles, hadn't touched food since arriving here. He barely noticed Hot fumbling behind him, musing, in a kid's body like this, even eating's a nuisance. When he turned and spoke gravely, hey, whether on purpose or not, the words froze Hot in place. The aura from Ig felt predatory. "Oh wait, is Hotsama's job done already?" Cold sweat poured down her face. She stammered, "There's no other way." The camera broke. But Ig wasn't letting go. The metallic blade now touched humanity's weakest spot. In an instant, he transformed before her eyes. Hot gasped, "Oh wait, too late." His grin curved wickedly. "No longer human. Looks like you're out of use." Hot forced trembling smile, pale as paper, desperate to flee. Thankfully, a sudden gunshot shattered the stifling air. The bullet streaked straight toward Ig. With inhuman reflexes, he dodged effortlessly, body blurring past the shot. The newcomer, who had fired that bullet, roared with thunderous command, "Stop right there." Another shot whizzed by. Hot sprang up with reflexes so sharp it stunned everyone. Without pause, Ig's tail hardened, lashing out to block a crushing kick from the attacker. The man's strength was immense. Ig skidded, foot grinding the floor to stay upright, but surprise hit both ways. Ig's eyes widened. "Yang Taisheng." The old man blinked. "Kid, what are you doing here?" From behind cover, Hot piped up, "Grandpa, you know this guy?" Ig blinked again, reeling. "Wait, Grandpa." The bizarre family connection thickened the air instantly. After hearing Taisheng's story, Ig nodded and understandingly. Had once imprisoned Hot for twisted experiments. He turned serious. "So we share an enemy. Any plan for this mess?" Hot didn't care, waving cheerfully. "Hold up, more important meal time." Her identity finally came clear. Hacker Hot was Yang Taisheng's granddaughter, and the old man, once known by the alias Kun Minru, reclaimed his true name. Yang Taisheng, deputy commander of Snow Wolf Base No. 2. A codename Kashuang Shuang, was an incestuous hyperadaptive being. Though trapped in a child's body, the old man tossed him a box. "This is the only thing you can eat right now?" Huh. Hot's eyes lingered on the milk carton in Ig's hand. After a pause, she laughed teasingly. "So milk only? You really are a kid?" Taisheng muttered curiously. Does she really not know? Ig hesitated. Should he tell her? The hesitation made the old man frown. If we're to cooperate, at least show some honesty. Meanwhile, Hot munched away, oblivious to the heavy silence thickening between them. Finally noticing, she asked, "What are you two whispering about?" After a sigh, Ig said, "Fine." Dark energy burst out, swirling around him. Condensed bones twisted into a storming vortex. In a blink, the illusion shattered, revealing his true hidden form. Both of them nearly spat. Their drinks looked like a geyser had gone rogue. A roar echoed off the cliffs. "What do you mean by that?" The old man choked on his drink. Hot gawked. "What the heck?" She leaned in, eyes wide. "You're really a kid," measuring his height with her hand. She muttered, "What? 1-year-old maybe." As her hand neared his head, Ig dodged, flinging her back with a burst of power. "Hey, don't touch me!" Watching the bickering, Taisheng barked, "Enough, you two!" Hot instantly ran to him, whining, "Grandpa, both you and that brat bully me. Do something." Ig frowned, thoughtful. The reveal of his true form was shocking enough. Yet now everyone treated him like a joke. With a body barely a year old, even Cess level power couldn't reach its full potential. Eyes cold as frost, Ig resolved firmly no matter what they asked. His rebirth must remain secret. Only when he exposes the whole truth of the apocalypse and the organization's secret will that final card be played. After fixing his direction, Ig asked quietly, "So, what's next?" Taisheng rose slowly, voice steady. "There are still many other units in this base." As he walked, he spoke evenly, explaining key points. The Snow Wolf Squad is among the strongest forces. His gaze lifted toward the ceiling, heavy with regret, but most of their officers were taken down by Li Yin. His backed by power, the captured children have been scattered everywhere. A direct assault's nearly impossible. First, we rescue the kids. More allies would be ideal. Saying that, Taisheng turned his sharp gaze toward Ig beside him. Words weren't needed. Their eyes said enough, locked in silent tension. When Ig stayed motionless, the old man faced his granddaughter. "If the Snow Wolf Squad detects anything strange, we're in deep trouble." "Hot! Can your bots blur the outgoing signals?" Hearing her name, she smiled confidently and replied, "Relax, Grandpa, don't underestimate my skills." She patted her chest, smug. Without waiting, Hot dashed to the equipment rack, fingers flying across the console. Her robots scattered immediately. Moving in perfect sync, they emitted scanning lights sweeping across the vast cavern. Outside, scrapyard footage streamed into the lab. When the setup finished, Hot turned back, teasing, "Remote control service starts at 100 million yen. Okay." But then, a hand suddenly grabbed her by the collar. It was Taisheng lifting her easily, his tone firm. "Then we can't stay here any longer." Before she could protest, he hurled Hot straight into the open escape route. Everything happened so fast she froze, pale as if swept into a storm. Taisheng followed, glancing back. "The rescue's yours, kid, got it." Ig smiled faintly, admitting, "I did stir up a bit of trouble before." His small hand clenched, energy rippled outward. "But now, I'm fine." From that energy, a tiny body formed like a mini cheesesteak version of himself. Then Ig, in his Ka form, gently picked up the small clone. "You'll free the experiment kids and hide them here. Leave the rest to me." Taisheng nodded with a faint smirk. "Don't mess it up." Before leaving, he tossed over his shoulder proudly, "Correction, it's me who never fails." Without another word, he turned away, sealing the door, leaving Ig alone in the abyss. It bared his teeth in a crooked grin. "If this worked, it'd be worth laughing over." Lifting his head high, he declared gleefully, "Your death will unfold right before my eyes." Instantly, a metal container burst open, flooding the room with crimson light. Once released, Shin Chan went berserk, chasing the screaming children. On a nearby rock, a security robot's metal foot pressed lightly into the ground. Every movement of Shen Chan stayed within its surveillance scope. Behind it, Ik was watching, missing not a single detail. Suddenly, Shen Then's bloodshot eyes flared as it gaped its hideous mouth. The two lagging kids burst into tears, trembling in terror. In the nick of time, hazy white mist swept across, swarming behind it. Countless tiny insects lunged at Shen Then. It instantly curled up, dropping its ferocity, clutching its head in defense. The one who intervened was none other than Ixao, and, eyes sharp and locked on the beast. At the same moment, a hand slowly touched the cold stone wall. Ig leaned forward cautiously, eyes tracking every move. Then he froze, unsure who should go first. "The climbing kid's useless, just cries," Ig muttered, "and the invisible one, if he strips, is perfectly safe. Nope, that guy stays to guard the others." After pondering, Ig decided, "All right, send the unnoticed ones first." A tentacle extended from his back, reaching for the child named Minun. In an instant, the boy was lifted, eyes wide with panic. Both Day and another kid were also snatched up by tentacles, suspended midair. The children were too scared to even squeak. Meanwhile, Wunwu, the supervisor, received news that several test samples had vanished. Yet on the monitor, everything looked normal. Security bots seemed fine. But then, red alerts flooded the screens, and Gunu frowned. Since when are these bots that agile? Back at the junkyard, the three kids were gently set down. Ig retracted his tentacles, secretly sighing in relief. Before he could relax, a loud shout startled him. "Who's there?" Elsewhere, an empty corridor led to a secret chamber. A scream tore through the air. Pawn was torturing a monster, red dust splattering inside the iron cage. Pausing, he panted with a twisted grin of delight, then continued the torment, making the creature howl miserably. Just then, the door slid open, revealing Lion's icy face. He stepped in, frowning. "Muzzle them. The noise is leaking out trouble if others hear." Pawn snorted irritably. "Is that how you talk to your master?" With a wicked grin, he decided to punish the insolence right away. A flash of lightning surged, striking straight at Lion. His body was instantly engulfed in a blazing purple aura. In seconds, his muscles locked, face twisted in pain, knees collapsing as screams echoed. After the brutal punishment, Lai Wang, drained in body and spirit, bowed shakily. "I apologize for my disrespect." While Bon was distracted, Two arms suddenly wrapped him from behind. Bond found himself trapped in Enya's warm embrace, pitiful and clumsy as ever. Recognizing her, Bond forced a crooked smile. Embarrassed yet relieved, he turned to her, whining softly. That hurts. But the throbbing pain inside made him roar, furious and pitiful all at once. Bond broke free, gripping his bait in tight, then struck the monster hard, red dust exploding everywhere. Aren't you my master? Every time I act, you question me though I've served you loyally? Why does it still hurt so much? Isn't that enough? Cry rose amid the relentless torture. The creature thrashed violently, screeching with ear-splitting terror. When Pond grew wary, Enya gently stepped forward to steady him, eyes calm as if ready to reveal everything. Lying, you've gathered them all, why no report yet? Lion, still weak, managed to explain, it's only the testing phase, yet deep down, they all felt turmoil doomsday loomed, and they still forged mutants as pawns. Back to Ig after being spotted, he cautiously glanced over his shoulder. Leon saw Xiaoan standing amid a swarm of fierce, menacing insects. His eyes glinted with hostility as he asked coldly, "What's your purpose?" Without giving Ig a chance to reply, Xiaoan attacked, shouting, "Spit it all out." The sudden strike left Ig scrambling, barely dodging in time, forced on the defensive. His body stiffened, yet he still aimed a counterblow. Momentum flung him far back. He rolled several times before halting, aching all over. Even so, he managed to channel energy and land safely. White smoke from dust and friction swirled around Ig's feet, veiling him in mist. He lifted his gaze, voice icy. "Stop struggling." A flicker of malice crossed the opponent's face. Ig smirked. "You're excited, right?" Enraged, Xiaoan descended, standing on a platform of his own insects. The two now faced each other, no room left to retreat. Ig spoke first, recalling the past, tone calm despite old wounds. "Not only did you survive, you got new powers." He sneered. "Lucky you." Each word cut deep. Xiaoan fell silent, eyes dark. That power had cost him his very body. Security robots turned their lenses toward them, recording the confrontation. Xiaoan suddenly softened his tone. "Let's go back," but Ig only shrugged coldly. "Back? To be lab rats for trash like them?" "Still," Xiaoan reasoned, "sacrifice is inevitable. Captain Laiwang, he suffers too." Ig laughed harshly. "Suffers? Are you dreaming? Throwing kids into a junkyard, call that hardship?" He snapped, voice choked with anger. Hearing that, Xiaoan glanced at the children, momentarily stunned, yet he stayed resolute. No matter what, a soldier orders must be obeyed. His hand moved, summoning insects. Captain Laiwan had commanded it. "I can't disobey." With that, Xiaoan sent the swarm wrapping tightly around Ig. The assault ignited Ig's fury, triggering his combat power. "Nice strength." Someone sneered. "Too bad you're brainwashed. I'm no good at persuasion," Ig said, voice calm but freezing cold. Xiaoan's eyes widened in horror at what unfolded before him. A colossal beast, born of Ig's own power, towered before him, terrifying yet awe-striking. Ig smirked. "No more holding back, I'll beat sense into you." Xiaoan stood frozen, crushed by the overwhelming force. Ig struck first, unleashing a mighty blow. Luckily, Xiaoan snapped out of it and raised a defensive barrier just in time. The entire scene was captured flawlessly by the security robots. Just as the two forces were about to clash, a blazing red pillar of light beamed down. Then came the familiar voice of Marshal Tai Sheng. His image appeared midair, majestic and furious. "Since when did Laiwang become the marshal here?" Ig muttered sarcastically. Xiaoan trembled in genuine fear at the sudden appearance. Tai Sheng's booming, commanding voice rang out. "Listen, a soldier is still human. Using children for experiments is a crime no excuse can justify it," he declared firmly. "As the marshal of this base, I order you." At that moment, tiny hand tugged at Xiaoan's sleeve, while Tai Sheng's steady voice continued, "Help those children, bring them to safety." Xiaoan frowned, thought briefly, then answered resolutely, "Yes, sir." Elsewhere, a dim corridor lit up with sunbeams through dusty glass. Aiden, Laurel, and Hawes Jun strode proudly, eyes sharp. Aiden grumbled, "Rounding up drowning brats again. Captain Laiwang sure worries too much." Hojin channeled energy, chuckling, "Perfect time to test my new powers." Laurel slammed the wall, cracking it. "If I say they died before I arrived, hell, shut up, right?" Suddenly, the snake on Aiden's head froze. He smirked faintly. A chill gust swept by. Danger loomed. Wait, what was that? The deep tunnel ahead began trembling violently. Aiden and Hojin's faces stiffened as eerie noises drew nearer. Just then, Xiaoan's insect swarm appeared, escorting Ig and the three kids speeding past. Ig chuckled. "Now this is a thrill ride. Go faster." Xiaoan retorted coolly, "Don't order me around." The three kids on board were dizzy. The youngest couldn't help but vomit. Aiden's group stared, baffled by the bizarre sight. Ig scoffed, "Ugh, just small fry, not worth a glance." Behind Xiaoan trailed a massive army of insects, forming a sight both grand and horrifying. Ig, and the kids glided safely past Aiden's squad, untouched. Meanwhile, the others were blasted aside, sprawled across the floor. Hajun staggered up, blood boiling, cursing, "Damn brats." He pressed the radio to his mouth and roared furiously, "All security units, now! The specimens, everything's out of control." Everyone inside and outside the control room received the alert. Yet Ig ignored it completely. A security bot's irritated voice buzzed, "Hey, keep it down, will you?" Hajun winced. covering his ears from the blaring noise. Amid chaos, she still guided Ig's group. Her voice came through the comms. They're approaching the target area. On the other end, a confident voice replied, "No worries, we've got our own inside." "Our own," she sighed. "So, old too, you used me to clean up your mess, didn't you?" "Fine. It'll help," she muttered, and two mechanical arms unfolded from her back. The metallic fingers flexed smoothly, gleaming with a cold, intricate light. With those mechanical arms, Hot felt more confident facing the coming assault. At the same time, two guards turned toward the source of the noise. Siwen's craft arrived, echoing with Ig's boisterous laughter. Taha and two others chased after, shouting, "Hurry!" They went this way. From the rooftops, swarms of security robots appeared and opened fire. The guards panicked, clutching their heads, yelling, "The defense system's activated. Stop. We're allies!" One screamed amidst the hail of bullets, yet two other guards readied their weapons as a mech squad advanced. One warned nervously, "They're here," not realizing a robot had crept up behind them. Ig merely crossed his arms, watching the fiery explosion with a blank face. On the map display, dense clusters of yellow and red dots blinked rapidly. Wherever Ig's group passed, guards tried to stop them pointlessly. Ig smirked. "Nice. Guess top 3 intelligence ranking still means something." Before he could gloat, Hot's voice cut in over comms. "Don't get cocky. Watch the front. I'm not controlling any bots in that sector. Someone's already there. Lai Wang's elite unit." Ig muttered, spotting dark figures blocking their path. His heart tensed as he recognized each face. No way they actually came without warning. Damon raised his gun, sneering, "Let's see who drops more." "Hawes!" Jun grinned. "Fine, but I've been meat-starved all week. Winner buys dinner." Dun lifted his hand and declared, "As usual, winner takes all." The moment his hand fell, 9 guns fired in unison, echoing thunderously. Gritting his teeth, Siwen raised a wall of insects, shouting, "Don't move." Bullets slammed into it with harsh metallic thuds, but the thin barrier gave way. One bullet broke through and shot straight toward Rin. The girl froze in terror, unable to react. Luckily, a black tentacle lashed out, deflecting the bullet midair. Ig finally realized just how fierce their firepower was. "I hate wasting strength, but if this keeps up, I might have to transform." Suddenly, something zipped past him, making him flinch. A soldier had charged in, gun aimed directly at Meinl. Siwen froze too, seeing another barrel pointed his way. Ig's power flared as he roared, "Damn it, I won't let the kids get hurt." The bullet was now less than an inch from Meinl's face. She squeezed her eyes shut, trembling. Then, with all her might, Meinl let out a mighty roar. Her power forged a dense magnetic field, bending the bullet's path mid-flight. It whizzed past Jun's arm at terrifying speed. What the hell? Another bullet grazed dangerously close to Xiaohan. Sweat poured down his face as he panted heavily. Sharp ice spikes erupted from the ground, shielding him just in time. The children's powers left Damon speechless. But then, he and his comrades recklessly charged again, burning with fury. Ig glanced their way, his face darkening like a storm. Ig's tentacles shot out, sending his foes flying into oblivion. When it was over, he turned to Minun and Xiaohan, eyes gleaming with interest. A mischievous idea sparked in his mind: magnetic control and ice. Quite the combo to look forward to.